Saturday night, and here we go. Lots of photography talk. Hope you guys are ready for it. I picked this topic just because obviously it's the hot topic right now in the Nikon universe. And I thought there may be some people that want to talk about it. But as usual, we'll take off and go from here to who knows where. All right. I want to thank Miss Amanda, who I think is in here as well, and Miss Mia for coming down the other day and us having a chance to do a photo shoot. It was so much fun. I had a blast, folks. And again, this wasn't a themed shoot or anything else. It was just posing 101. And I think we got a lot, all of us got a lot out of it. So looking forward to it again. We're going to do it again towards the end of July and with yet another model or possible model. So, uh, yeah, I can't wait to do it again. All right. So the topic tonight I picked, let me grab Mr. Hang on. We got people in here coming in now. So I think next time I'm going to hold everybody until I finish with my little opening narrative. But since they just now popped in, everybody welcome Mr. Jeffery Neville from Selective Imagery and Mr. Z Wade Photo of zwadephoto.com.
What's up, everybody?
You guys are doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. How's the mic sound?
Sounds great. Looks good. Everything's good. We're just
Groovy.
rocking and rolling.
Now I just need my coffee to finish brewing so we can really get into it.
There you go. And I think I'm going to have to make some more. So you can expect that at some point here. All right. All right. So welcome back, Jeffrey. Glad to see you back in here, buddy.
No.
I know you had other things to do recently. Couldn't make it. But glad to see you in here, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. We're doing pretty good. So I'm not complaining.
All right. Great. Z, how you doing?
Good, man. Just been out shooting around, plinking around, and haven't touched a Z6 or Z6 II since the Z9 showed up, and I'm finding less reasons to grab it.
It's funny how that happens. There's always a
Right?
favorite camera in the bunch, and everybody else, all the others get a little bit jealous.
Well, I did for the first time today. I really did some portrait type stuff, and I just had my niece was out in the yard doing the firecracker poppers and smoke bombs with and having a good time. And so I was just shooting, and man, breathtaking portraits on the Z9. Really, it's just amazing.
Glad to hear that, man. And John Ishii may join us here in a bit too. He's so far ahead of us in time, so it's kind of early in the morning, but he may join us. He just took an expedition with his Z9. He wants to talk about it. Well, let me say hi to everybody in the chat: Mozman, Ben Williams, Mike Farwell, Ted, Art Bear, Jeff and Leslie Wildlife. Good to see you guys in here. Yaman, good to see you, buddy. Morning there. Greg Wilson Photography. So how much charge you got on your phone tonight, Greg? Let us know how long we have to go. Gustavo.
He says over 100%. I'm going to get worried.
Yeah. Gustavo, good to see you. Greg, nice to see you. I think we have Roy's in here. And Mike Farwell had asked a question in the chat before we went live, asking if we could talk about everybody's favorite portrait lens. So absolutely, we'll get to that. Nice photo in the background. Thanks, Amanda. Amanda helped me out tremendously. She was a great assistant in coaching and everything. We had a good time. Again, maybe I'll share some of those photos here soon.
Chuck, I have to interject here and say that the live stream of you and Amanda like doing the headshots and stuff, that was a really fun live stream.
Well,
and
thanks.
You should do more of that.
All right. Thanks.
I love seeing like YouTubers who are like in the photography sphere. I love watching them work. Like it's so satisfying, because like we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And then seeing you guys actually shoot, it's like that's where we belong right there. Beautiful thing.
I appreciate that. And we'll do that. No doubt about it, Zach. I'm going to do that. Maybe on I think it's the 24th. We've got another shoot scheduled. Maybe this time I'll try to set up the 24th. That would be on a Sunday, so I'm not sure. Maybe I'll video it. I don't know. But anyway, and we can talk about the video afterwards and mic everybody up so you can hear the conversation as it's going. But yeah, thanks a lot for that. It means a lot, not just to me, but to Amanda and to Amia, I'm sure. So this was the first time for her really standing in front of a camera for a photographer. And again, it was a big learning experience for all of us. We had a good time. There was no theme. We were just working on facial expressions and posing, especially hands. That's always so difficult for so many people when you're trying to take a portrait or something for somebody that's not a trained model. So anyway, thanks again, man. And we'll do that. Talk about the equipment while we're doing it and everything else.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure to see. Like Z Wade said, it's very enjoyable to see somebody, in process working and showing what they're doing and when you're doing it live, hey, I mean,
Yeah.
that takes some gumption to do anyway.
Yeah.
So many people will just, they'll shoot it and they'll show it, but they'll edit the hell out of it. And you won't see all the screw ups, and you're not afraid to do it. So I applaud you for that 100 times.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah,
Chuck had more monitors going than I have camera lenses to use.
Yeah. It was being a one-man show. It's often a little crazy, but maybe if Amanda's here, I can maybe we'll do a live stream, just a impromptu live stream while we're shooting at some point. Get in here for a little bit. I'll have Amanda to help me out. Dwayne Parker from Louisville, Kentucky. Wow, my old stomping grounds. Grew up there. Mr. T-Mid is in here. Welcome to all that haven't been in here before. So we're just one big happy community. We talk about everything. Again, we've got shooters shooting Sony, Canon, Fuji, Olympus, you name it. Everybody in here. There's a lot of people in here that don't necessarily shoot Nikon, but you're more than welcome. And we don't bash the brands. We may bash the fanboys, but we don't bash the brands at all. I got a little note here for anybody that's interested in Canon gear. Lee Rothman just called and left a voicemail. He's got the new Olympus or whatever it is, OM Systems or whatever, but the new OM1 or whatever it's called. And I'm terrible because I don't know the actual nomenclature. But anyway, he's listed all of his Canon equipment. I can't remember who he listed it with, but if anybody's interested in Canon equipment, cameras or glass, and he has some very nice lenses and cameras. I don't know exactly which ones, but if you just send me an email, I'll get you in touch with him if you're interested in. He said he's got it priced right too. So for all you Canon shooters or anybody that wants to be Canon, here I am talking about Nikon and trying to push their buttons, and we're selling Canon equipment. But anyway, that's what this show's all about. So hope you guys will shoot me an email if you're interested, and I'll make sure he gets it and he can respond to you. All right, T-Mid. Yeah, I kind of entered your world a little live shooting the other day, but had so much other stuff going on right on the Z30 and 400 4.5 announcement day. So I knew that everybody wanted to talk about that, but I do appreciate the attention, at least while we were doing the shoot in the studio. Let's see. Israel said, is he switching to Sony like Chelsea? No, I think he's happy with this new OM1, Israel.
That's the one brand I've never even tinkered with. I don't know anybody that has an Olympus for me to just play around with.
Yeah.
It's just not popular in this area, I guess.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. But everybody gets to do what they want to do, and that's what's wonderful, isn't it, Z?
Yep, that's exactly right. It's some people hate Nikon ergos and everybody else thinks they're great. So to each their own.
Yeah, and I think whatever menu system you grew up with too, you think it's the best, but it's just a matter of getting used to a new one if you're going to switch or whatever. So yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So I did a poll, and I'm going to jump over here real quick. Let me see. I posted a poll, and it says, are you buying the Z30? And then you could leave a comment below to explain your answer if you felt like you needed to expound on it. I'll just give you the results. So wound up with 47 votes. And 6% of the people said yes, definitely, that responded. 47% said no, I'm not interested in a vlogging camera. 4% said they're on the fence, they're not sure if it's something they want or need. 13% said no, I want a Pro DX body. And then 30% said no, I'm waiting for Z9 tech in the next full frame body, be it a Z63, Z73, or a Z8. So it's funny. You've got 10% that are either buying it or considering it out of the 47. And then another 30% that are definitely waiting for the full frame. And I guess we've got what, 13, 60% saying no, they don't want this camera, basically, but 13% said, yeah, I want a Pro DX body, not this body. I think this body has gotten a lot of attention, though, and I've kind of been schooled here lately from a lot of people talking about they feel like it's a good move for Nikon and everything else. I want to caveat my initial anger at Nikon for going this route, but I wasn't thinking at the time. This camera was probably in development, or it was actually being conceptualized about the time that, or before the Nikon Z9 went live with the teasers and everything else. So it was probably well before that, even maybe. Anyway, to get to the point, I don't think Nikon had all the feedback that they've received since the Z9 was announced, because everybody that's getting the Z9 has pre-ordered it or received it. And so many people came out as soon as that camera was dropped and talked about they didn't want the large body. They didn't want the permanent vertical grip. They wanted the same tech in a smaller body. Now, okay, we won't argue over whether you will get the same tech or whatever. But the point is a lot of people are holding out, and they've made that statement very clear since the Z9 came out. So would that have changed Nikon's mind if they had had that data before they launched or finalized the development of the Z30? I don't know if it would or wouldn't, but I can't go back and hammer Nikon, because this was probably discussed well before the Z9 was launched. So I guess they had to continue with that process. The only thing that confuses me is using all the parts bin pieces that they did. Yes, they put some new tech, but that's all firmware related. And they had to build a new body to chop the top off. But that's really not that difficult, I guess. So you guys, if you want to discuss the Z30, and I'm open to that, then by all means, we'll talk about it for a minute. I'm not a fan. You guys know that. And my big concern is how much does it eat into their production? Meaning, is there room for another full frame body or a DX Pro body to come out this year? And I'll entertain your Z. You take off. Tell me what you think, and we'll watch the comments and answer comments.
I started off a little bit confused, and I think part of it was just me being selfish because I want the
Me
stuff
too.
that I want, and namely the 8512. I've been waiting a long time, and I see this other, the Z30 come out, and I'm like if I was starting a YouTube today, I might get one, but the more I thought about it, the more it kind of started to make sense, because I think it appeals to more people than we think it does, not just vlogging. I don't know why Nikon went the vlogging route, because vlogging is actually like kind of dead. There's no new vloggers. There's people that have been vlogging for a long time and they already have their gear. But people that want to start doing Twitch or start doing a YouTube, I get that. And also, I think young photographers, I'm talking like 14, 15, 16, that want a camera for their birthday, I don't think they'll use the viewfinder. I think they'll do this.
I agree.
And so I think that there is a market for it. And I do think it's a good move by Nikon now that I have like thought about it, as long as I don't think they're foolish enough to let it destroy their big money making production. And so I'm going to give Nikon the benefit of the doubt. Every time I think I know what they're doing, I'm wrong, and it seems to work out. And so,
Again, I don't know. And I'm like you, I've been selfish about it because I'm concerned about how it actually affects their production. for
Mhm.
other cameras, and especially for a box store camera. And that's what everybody wants it to be. You know, the
Mhm.
Costco pallet of cameras sitting out in the aisle with the big price over it and everything else, which brings me to price. And then I'm going to turn you loose, Jeffrey. I think this was overpriced. Personal opinion. I think this should have been $200 cheaper. Just my opinion.
I think
Or
yeah.
throw
Five
the
$5.99.
yeah, throw the vlogging kit in for the total $709 or whatever.
I would say that the price would be, I would think that the price is good if they would have made it just a little bit different of a camera. That's my only like critique of it is I don't know why they couldn't just go ahead and throw the IBIS in there because I understand the DX lenses have VR in them, but Nikon's got to commit to that now for this vlogging camera, and they should have just put like a, even if it was just like a 3-axis or something that could work in sync with the lens, you
Right.
know, to make it that much better. If you're going to be walking with it out in front of you, they should have done that. And $700, I'd have been like, okay, I get that because that's something different. It's not basically just like a Z50 and a new body.
So
You know, they could have but done a little more specific with it.
Kai's review of it, or his quick review of the Z30, he showed how it reacted to moving with it and everything else. And I don't know, maybe for vloggers, it isn't that irritating. It didn't look too bad walking around with it on a stick, you know, a
Mm.
vlogging stick, whatever it is he was using, or handheld. He was actually holding it handheld. But anyway, yeah, I'm seeing comments come in here. We'll get to those in just a second, guys. Jeffrey, what do you think?
Well, I did a little bit of homework
I expect that from you, buddy.
as usual. I'm not going to go over all my homework because it's way too long. But basically, if you're looking out there for what people are categorizing, or in some cases the companies are categorizing as vlogging cameras, the Canon R10 is doing advertisements like showing it as a better than a phone, you know, for the young crowd. I've seen YouTube commercials on some channels. So they're taking, or actually started that approach, and Nikon is following that same approach with the Z30. Sony basically has two what you would consider vlogging cameras. They have a ZV-1,
Right.
which only has a 1-inch sensor. It has no EVF. And basically, if you can compare the specs of that camera versus the Z30, you're going to go with a Z30. The ZV-1 sells for $748 with a built-in Zeiss 24-70 equivalent lens, f1.8 at the 24 end and f2.8 at the 70 end. But obviously, you know, you have a larger, you know, a better sensor on the Nikon version. Now the Sony will do 24 frames per second, but you're talking like a 1-inch sensor. That
Yeah.
sensor is only 0.63 inches diagonally across, and the
Correct.
APS-C is almost twice the size.
Yeah.
So I would say that's not really what Nikon was going after to compete against. They were going after the Sony ZV-E10, which
Yeah.
is an interchangeable lens camera. And those specs are very, very close, very, very close. And I would say if you're a Nikon guy, you'd stick with Nikon. If you're a Sony guy, you're going to stick with Sony. But the Z30 supposedly is weather sealed, and the Sony is not. And for some people, that's a real big deal. The Sony has a headphone port. It's the only one out of all of them, including the R10, that has a headphone port. Nobody else does. But they all use those micro HDMI connections that so many
Right.
serious filmmakers hate, absolutely hate, because they're not as rugged, and the cabling isn't as good as a full-size HDMI like you have on a Z9.
Right.
So now you look at price point. None of these models, whether it be the R10, the Z30, either Sony, have IBIS. The Sonys have some digital stabilization for video only, but it's not IBIS. So, you know, if an Nikon had thrown IBIS in there, it would have definitely been a good marketing thing because they'd be the only one that they'd be the only ones that had it.
Right.
Now the Nikon goes for $850 with the 16 to 50 millimeter lens, and the Sony, which ZV-E10 sells for $798 with the 16 to 50 millimeter lens.
Yeah.
So you're only talking $52 more for the Nikon, and spec wise they are very, very close. One is better in some areas, one is better in other areas. So I think they were really poking at the Sony, and I hate to say this because I mean obviously I own Nikon cameras, but I appreciate all brands. But to me, it's like Nikon doesn't need to mimic somebody else's stuff. They need to surpass somebody else's stuff. And to me, this is too much like getting too darn close to that Sony model, and they needed to do something, like either put the IBIS in it or do something, or throw in that whole vlogging kit for that price point, and then they could stand up and say, yeah, we're similar but better.
Well, so
right now they're just similar. So, but
so
apparently,
this camera isn't obviously targeting serious photographers or videographers.
No.
So, okay. So I've heard that comment, several times now, and I agree with that 100%. If you're going to put out strictly a vlogging camera that somebody can just carry around with them and vlog when they want to, then again, I go back to price. And I don't know how they get the price down, but they really needed to, in my opinion. Here we go. The idiots.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. What word did I say that triggered that one?
Nothing.
Who knows? Man, now I got it up on the screen.
I'm trying to catch him and report him whenever I see him. And you know what, Mozman, I'm going to report you. No, I'm just kidding. For hate speech. Now, Mozman is making he's making some good points. There are people that are saying that it needs to have like all this other stuff too, and that kind of defeats the purpose. And it would be over $1,000. You might as well get a Z50. But yeah. I see what Nikon was doing, but I agree with Jeffrey. Like at this point, Nikon does need to focus on like beating other people, and does seem to kind of be similar to the Sony, according to Jeff's homework. So,
yeah, here's the deal. My issue with it too is the fact that everybody was complaining, saying Nikon needed an entry-level camera to get people into the Nikon system. Is this that camera? Because we're not talking about just vloggers. We're talking about people that want to get into stills photography. Yeah, all right. So tonight, Zach didn't like his chair placement. So this is not, in my opinion, the entry-level camera to get into Nikon. Yes, I understand you can look at the back of the screen and hold that out there, and so many people do that, okay? But are they going to do that necessarily when they go on to other cameras? Well, maybe they will. Bottom line is, I don't think that this is the one that everybody, will jump into the Nikon system with. It's specifically it's made for, and it caters to vloggers. I mean, anyway, we could talk about that all night long. I just wanted to throw out there, share what you guys shared in the polling. And, this camera is what it is, and I'm not going to bash it. We'll wait and see how Nikon does with it. But the big thing for Nikon is they need to market this, because they're not going to get any traction if they don't continue to market it. And if you think you're going to get in-store marketing from the sales associates, maybe not, because right now, Sony is the camera to go to. And who was sharing a story with me? I think it was Mike. Or maybe it was Terry Breedlove. Anyway, saying that he was in a store the other day and they were talking about a entry-level vlogging camera or something like that. And the guy said, well, you need to look at Sony. So that stereotype is still out there. So anyway, Nikon definitely has to do some marketing to get this thing off the ground. And I just hope that it doesn't eat into anything that we're waiting for down the road. Had it been a Pro DX body, I wouldn't have said a word because I know there are so many people out there waiting for that. But then those that are looking for a very cheap camera to get into the system, none of them are in the chat though, are they? You know, because they're still looking for a camera to get into the system. So it doesn't matter if we treat it right, wrong, or whatever. It's just time that we, uh, you know, figured out, are we going to continue to support Nikon going down that path? Or I shouldn't say continue to support them, but, you know, anyway, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You didn't receive the poll, Gustavo. How many people in the chat out there saw the poll that I put up on the Nikon Z30? Okay. I just wonder how YouTube's algorithm is working. How many people are actually seeing it?
Yeah, it came up pretty quick on my phone.
Nope. James, you didn't see it? Wow. Mozman said he never saw it. He saw them all at once today. Wow. Wow. Didn't see it, didn't get notified. So if you have all notifications on, it should come up. But then again, I'm a small channel, so I don't know how much Nikon's pushing it. So I looked to see if it was coming up in another, you know, in the feed. As you scroll down, typically there's the section where polls and community tabs are dropped, and I haven't seen mine come up on my wife's or anybody else's, so I don't know.
I'd like to make one more comment about the camera.
Yeah,
I could. I wish if they threw the EVF on, then it would the R10 I don't really think is in the same grouping because it has the EVF and it shoots a lot higher speeds, a lot higher frame per second, although it is getting criticized for a slow buffer. But I've watched videos on people that have used it and they said, well, you know, slow is relative. You know, they said if you're doing short bursts or whatever, it's perfectly fine. If you're going to sit on the shutter, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously these are just SD cards and they're single card slots. So, you know, they're all single card slots. I would actually consider this camera if I didn't have, you know, a decent built-in camera on my Mac, I would consider it for, you know, using it, you know, for what we're doing now, without spending an arm and a leg, or use it for, you know, shooting me doing something in the field while I'm doing a video or while I'm taking pictures where because I don't have a Z6 II or a Z7 II or any other mirrorless camera. I just have the Z9. So it might fit that niche for me to have something that's not overly expensive that will fill that need if I wanted it. But I mean, personally, I'd probably rather spend the money on a ZFC and have a kind of a cool little street photography camera, and I could still use it for, you know, for a channel use or whatever at the same time. But that would be, you know, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out, but it's not something I'm going to jump onto right away.
Jeff, are you telling me that you don't want to have the lightweight and compact Z9 set up on a little Joby tripod right by your Mac?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Joby's not quite strong enough.
those tripod legs would go.
Yeah, the legs would just collapse. You know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know where this camera's going to go. I hope it does well for Nikon because I don't want it to, you know, I don't want Nikon to, you know, lose in this new arena that they've decided to tackle. I really do hope the best for them. I know there are a lot of good points about the camera. Don't get me wrong. I just question the design, not the design, but the, you know, capabilities by price and everything else. And, you know, we're going to get the lens screaming going on now. Everybody's going to want a prime extra wide DX lens for this camera.
And then they're going to want a DX macro lens. and then they're going to want to DX this and everything else. And you're right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know, but we'll
Which
see.
I want that stuff too, because I want people to get into the Nikon sphere, and I think it's a good move for Nikon. But again, I'm selfish. Once I get my 85-1.2, I'm on everybody's team. I'll play both sides.
And then you don't care what they do after that, right?
We're gonna get to that in just a minute, because Mike wanted to talk about everybody's favorite portrait lens. So we'll get to that in just a minute. But let's go ahead and check the block on the 400 4.5. I also did a poll on that, just messing around. I said, if it was 1996, would you buy it? I think everybody would pretty much jump on that lens at that price. But at 32, whatever it is, 49, I think that's it, 32.49 or something.
32.49.95.
Yeah, it's still a great price for that lens, don't get me wrong. But now, you think Nikon's finished with 400 millimeter? Is there anything else in 400 millimeter that they can produce right now? Anybody got any suggestions? Might as well let's kill 400 millimeter before it just takes over.
All right.
But you gotta have a cheap one with the 1.4 telly in it.
A 4.5 with a 1.4 tele.
Why not get one in the $2,000 range? A 400-6.3 next. How about that?
Look, I'm not saying that that any of the 400s that they've come up with in the 400 range, be it a Zoom or a Prime, are bad. Don't get me wrong, but I think we've got 400 millimeter covered. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a great addition. I just question sometimes Nikon's timing on things. What's the lens the majority are jonesing for, not just UZ, but the majority are jonesing for. Gustavo,
actually, yeah, here lately it's been the 2-600.
2-600.
Yeah.
And you know what I heard? I've heard a Nikon shooter say he's not going to wait for it. He's going to get that Mega adapter because it works so well and go buy the Sony 2-600. Now it's just one guy, but I'm not talking to 15,000 Nikon shooters to see what they think, but at least one guy said, yeah, I'm not waiting. I'm doing it.
Boy, I don't know. You cross pollinate these guys. You don't know what you're going to end up with.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, could get real scary.
But I can think of reasons why Nikon didn't want to throw the 2-600 out there. Can you think of any? I think that maybe it's that good, or they expect it to be that good because they have their prototype that people would say, you know what? I don't want the 400.
Yeah, they got to make sure that they get every little dime out of us in anticipation, and then they'll finally drop it like next month, and people will be like, SOB. Like, I just bought the 1-4. It just showed up.
Again, I like this lens for everything that I've seen. And Seth tried to do a live stream this morning, except for everything overheated on him, and he had to resort. I didn't get to watch his after he shut that stream down and started it again, or how he figured that out. But anyway, and Mozman makes a point here talking about the Megadap, and I have seen that. I have seen that issue too. But you know what? I don't think it's going to mount to a hill of beans, because people are going to buy it anyway. Why anybody wants to continue to buy Sony glass or whatever, unless it's a lens that they just feel like they're never going to get from Nikon, maybe, or it's cheaper. I don't know. But so is anybody in the chat, or have you guys considered ordering that new 400? I haven't.
I from a full frame guy, no. The 1-4 is more than good enough to me. That gives me more flexibility if birds are closer. I have that extended range. If I was fixed on a 400, it's either going to be too short for birds in flight, or it's going to make me back up too much for birds near the shore. But if I had an APS-C Pro body, it would be an absolute no-brainer, because I'd be getting a 600 equivalent f4.5 for probably probably 25% of the cost of what a 600 f4 is going to be when and if it comes out, for a full frame camera. That would be a no-brainer then. But for me personally right now, no, I wouldn't think about it.
Yeah. Now, here's what I said the other day. One, the 1 to 400 is more flexible for me. It's probably doesn't have the same bokeh at 400 millimeter like the Prime does, but it's good enough for me. And I go back to Photo Me Ike with his, it's good enough. And a lot of people settle with it's good enough. But having that flexibility makes it so much better for events or some sporting events and things like that for me. So I'm not interested in it. Now, if I had a money tree out back, yeah, I would have ordered it already. Okay.
If
I
you
just
had a
wanted
money
to
tree,
know.
you'd probably get the 2.8.
Yeah,
I would
well,
if I had a money
Yeah.
tree.
I'd get them both.
I'd
I'd
get
get
the
them both.
2.8 like that if I had.
I'd be
if I
ordering
could do
everything
it,
they're putting
boom.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. Same.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I understand that too. If you have some Sony glass for whatever reason, I can understand why, people would buy that Megadap adapter. And if you're in a hurry for a particular lens that Nikon hasn't produced yet, yeah, I can understand that too.
I would have
Oh,
I would have really liked for it to have just like I always say, I like variety and I like options. With the 1 to 400, to me, that is the 400 millimeter that people would get if they can't really swing the 2.8. I would have liked to have seen like 500 or something, anything besides like another something that tops out at 400, just because I like options. And I would be more likely to buy that one than I would just a 400 prime, which I'll get the 400 prime someday. I just not right now, you know.
I'll tell you where that 400 will shine. And if Nikon had dropped that DX body, that 400 would sell five
Even
times
better.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean that 400 on a Z30, as light as that 400 is, to me, it's still too big for a Z30 body. And
Well, nobody's buying a Z30 to go birding. I don't
right,
think.
right. I'm just saying
I
it's
am.
Right.
not they don't really have an APS-C camera. I don't feel that is meant for that lens. It's got to be the D500 plus camera that
Yeah.
that lens would be perfect for. And I was hoping, like we were talking all along, is that hoping that the APS-C cameras, that there were going to be two of them, and the second one's going to be the D500 plus equivalent, you know.
Yeah.
Then
Albert,
it makes sense. Otherwise, this lens is kind of like in limbo, I think.
yeah. Well, I think there are going to be a lot of people that buy it. There'll just be people that figure, it's going to be it's so much better. I don't even want to look at the 1 to 400. The price tag on it's close enough to the 1 to 400. I can swing it or whatever, and it's a prime, and I can tote around a prime 400.
And
No
it is
doubt,
very
people.
handsome. Not that looks matter. It's a nice looking
No,
lens.
you're right. You're right. So, yeah,
Yeah,
hey,
you pet it nice, and talk to it. Shut
yeah.
up, you know.
Albert comes back to the Z30 and he's talking about inexpensive and accessible, while the Z9 is expensive and inaccessible. You can only affect as many people as you're able to reach. You bring up a good point. Obviously, I know some of this is in jest, being two completely opposite ends of the spectrum as far as cameras go. But is Nikon going to be able to get this in the hands of people quick enough for people to actually say, okay, I'm in, I'll try it? I'm talking outside the Nikon brand right now, and they see this camera and want to get it. How um, how do you think that's going to affect the sales if Nikon can't get these out in bulk real soon, especially for that crowd?
Well, I agree with you, Chuck, that is the perfect camera where you have it in every Costco store for Christmas with a small camera bag, an SD card, the vlogging kit. You package it maybe 2 or 3 different ways, and you flood those Sam's Clubs and those Costco's with it, and you better have enough of them made for those stores.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And then again, how does that affect the production of everything else?
Yeah.
I don't know. Time's going to tell, but I still think we may see that. I still have a feeling that we may see that APS-C Pro body not too far away. I think that they're not trying to mimic everything that Canon's doing, but then again, they know the desire for that Pro DX body out there. especially since if they've been watching, everybody's been talking about that, especially since this APS-C was announced.
If Nikon really wants to have the most profitable year they've ever seen, they'll drop the 500 replacement and the 850 replacement at the same time, and they'll just like ruin their own production lens.
Well, something on the
They will make
Z9.
a fortune.
I think Nikon's going to be pretty much caught up on the Z9 by the end of the year. And people will laugh about that. Not if you got it at B&H, because Nikon can't produce in a year to support Nikon B&H's waiting list. A little joke there. But because don't base your accessibility.
It's not a joke for me, Chuck.
Well,
it's
don't
real.
base the accessibility of the Z9 on the waiting list at B&H, because people are picking these cameras up here. I want to say readily, but I don't want you to confuse that with, yeah, they're not sitting on shelves at small stores, but small stores have exhausted most of their waiting list. So every shipment they're able to sell to people that just are calling around. All right. You guys think 35 megapixel crop sensor doable without having to suffer too much noise at 3200 ISO? Good question, Neth. I don't know, because there's still a lot of talk about noise with the Z9 right now. The higher we go, though, I guess get ready for it, because it's present in all the bodies across the board. Everybody's dealing with it, as far as Canon, Sony, everybody else. And then we can get into the big war about, no, Sony doesn't have it or Canon doesn't or whatever. But everybody's dealing with it. I don't know. Are sensors getting better at higher megapixel?
I think
noise
so,
wise,
because
they are.
You know that I absolutely hate noise, and I think the Z9 at higher ISOs, yeah, like you're gonna have noise, but it's really uniform. It's a really
it's fine.
It's
finer.
It's very fine. It's very uniform, and there's not a lot of the like the color noise where it's just disgusting at higher ISOs. And so, like, even for a guy like me, that's saying a lot. So I don't know. Yeah, it's 45 megapixels. You're gonna have noise at like 6400 ISO, of course, but at least it's not. It's okay noise. Like it's good. It's good compared to where we were like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah. Well, Nikon said that the 24 millimeter sensor, Nikon said, we hear that Nikon has said the 24 megapixel sensor is gone now. I'm guessing that maybe they're just talking about in full frame. I don't know. Maybe they're going to reserve that still for a Pro DX body, whatever it may be. That's still a possibility, I guess. I don't know.
Oh God, we got him again. What did we say this time?
Pro DX body. You said the word body. That's what did it.
And cheap.
And cheap.
This is coming from a spot called Broadway in Wichita. Cheap.
It's you got your bots at work tonight, don't you?
And you know what? Every time I try to get rid of them, it like screws up my stream, and it like gets rid of chats.
I know, it's driving me crazy too.
Hey, what's up, Mar?
Nice to have a spam killer. All right, so let's jump from the Z30 and the 404.5. So Mike wanted to talk about the favorite portrait lens. Now this is going to bring up, of course, in the Z line, what's missing, the lens that you're waiting for, Zach, and so am I. I'm actually waiting for that 85 1.2. Learned a little bit about it though, but watching somebody play with the 51.2 the other day. Depends on the background that you're shooting as to whether you want to shoot wide open, and namely at night where you have a lot of lights in the background. Shooting at 1.2 on that 50, man, that was ugly. I mean, the background, that was ugly. I'm sorry. Big blotchy lights, that it was doing its best. I mean, it was doing what it does, But when he stopped it down to 2.8 or even f4, I got to tell you, it looks so much more pleasing with the lights in the background. Then you could actually see and know they were lights instead of these aliens that were, coming to get you or whatever.
UFOs.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I want it. I don't want it for the 1.2. I want it for the 51.2 is just different. Whether it's at 1.2 or 5.6, there is something to it that's just magic, and it has a look to it, and it's just gorgeous. Like, it's like, this is different. This is top of the top, and it looks and feels like it. I want that in my portraits, and I get that out of the 50. But I like the I like the feel of an 85. It looks more natural in the face than a 50. And so that's why I want it. I don't want it for the 1.2. I use the 1.2 up close, almost like a macro for shallow depth of field. Portraits, I'm 1.8 and higher, but it's just got that secret sauce that we've talked about. That's why I want the 85 1.2, and I'll pay almost any price for it at this point.
Yeah, I'm
that Nikon, hear that Nikon? Any price.
Yeah, I wanted to, just because of the focal length at 85. I was shooting in the studio here with a 70 on the 24-70, and that's a great lens. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not shooting it at 2.8 with that lens in the studio. Matter of fact, I was shooting. Unfortunately, I had to shoot at 7.1 only because I couldn't kill the ambient light in the studio.
And I also.
I was shooting at 64 ISO. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, the 85 1.8 is fantastically sharp, but something weird about that lens, and this is why I don't own it. I feel like that lens is marvelous in the studio.
Yeah.
But I don't like that lens outside. I don't. There's nothing special about it. It's like you buy it for the focal length and that's all. And that's why I don't have it. And so I've been here lately. I'm like, I don't care if the 85 that we're waiting on, it doesn't even have to be a 1.2. If it can be a 1.4, anything besides the one that they already have, because I don't particularly like that lens. I didn't think it was that great.
Yeah.
Marvelously sharp, but that's it.
Hey guys, we've got John Ishii in the green room. Mr. Ishii, welcome, sir.
Good to be back.
Mr. John Ishii.
John, I got to leave and come back because my chat is not working at all. I can't see anything.
He's lying. Right. He doesn't like his spot in the chat.
I'm leaving. That's it. I'm leaving. You guys don't like me.
All right, brother. Mr. Ishii, how you doing? We've been talking about the Z30 and 400 4.5, and now we've moved on to lenses, best portrait lens, or everybody's favorite portrait lens. We've seen the 70-200, and I know a lot of people do use that lens for portraits, but particularly, I want to see the 85 1.2 come out, because I'm not buying any more F-mount glass. As a matter of fact, I'm selling F-mount glass, and Jeffrey's back.
Good idea. Good idea. I just ordered the 4.5 Friday, and it should be in about 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems pretty impressive.
Yeah, it looks nice. I like it. I have the 1-400, so if I was saying earlier, if I had a money tree out back, I'd have all the 400s. I hope Nikon's finished with 400 millimeter for a little while and get us some other lenses.
Well, that's the question. Do you keep both, or you get rid of one?
Yeah, and for me, the 1-400 suits my needs. I don't, the 400 I'd love to have, but I wouldn't shoot as much. I don't think it's as versatile.
Well, I think they're for different use cases, though. I mean, if you're doing outdoor sports and stuff like that, you're on the sidelines or whatever, the 400 would be great, and the 400 on the fixed focal length is going to be sharper than the 400 on the zoom. But if you want versatility, and you're shooting somebody, you're doing a portrait of somebody, and then you're doing and then you need to get close, you have that capability with the zoom. You're not backing up or going forward.
What I got out of Ricky's review was there are only two things that the 400 4.5 will excel that you can actually see the difference at. And one is the bokeh with that lens, better than the 1 to 400. And the other is using a teleconverter for the prime rather than the zoom. But he said
Right,
the
right,
1.4 teleconverter works as well on both of those lenses. Maybe when you go to the 2.0 teleconverter, that's where the prime does a better job than the 1 to 400. But he said as far as sharpness, yeah, you can find it, but you have to put the photos side by side in pixel peep. So for me, again, it's good enough. That said it all for me. It may not, if I'm just a wildlife shooter and I think 400 millimeter is the prime focal length for me, then I'd be all over that 400 4.5. Or again, if I was just a rich man, well, I'd own all the lenses they're putting out just because.
Well, let me
Well,
tell you my
no more 24 to something zooms, please.
Yeah.
No more
more
telephotos,
experience.
period.
Yeah,
I'm done.
no.
I don't want the telephotos.
Don't say that. Don't say that. That 200 to 600 is in big demand right now. But you know what? Bring that one
Shelf it
out,
for
and then
now.
let's push away from birding and wildlife. I think we got enough out there. If you're a rich man or if you're a poor man, you can take your pick, and you're going to have enough with that 2 to 600. 200 f2. Will they do that in a Z mount or the 105 1.4 or a 135? I mean, Neth is saying that this is favorites, but I'm not buying. I guess if you have these, that's fine. And I do have the 200 f2, but I got to tell you, I don't like it on the Z9. I don't know why, but I don't like it on the Z9. But I'm not buying any more F mount glass. And I had somebody tell me the other day, well, you can have it if you just go buy F mount. Glass. And I said, and it's relatively cheap. No, because I'm trying to get rid of that stuff. I'm not a rich man. I've got to dump one to get the next. So
Sure.
I'm waiting for Nikon now.
I wouldn't personally. I mean, I love the 200 f2, but I wouldn't buy another one. For the Z.
Mike's talking about his 80 to 200 2.8 along with a 300 2.8 go-to lenses. Yeah, Mike, I've never shot with the 80 to 200, but I have, messed with the 300 2.8. And while it is incredibly sharp, the 300 2.8, I don't think I want that for a portrait lens. So I'm talking about all around for portraits. If we're talking about, hey, shooting outdoors, portrait lenses, then all the long lenses like that are fantastic. I agree. But if you're going to shoot in studio and outdoors, then it's just too long. The 105 is for me approaching, my limit in a studio other than just headshots, because I only have 10 or 12 feet from the subject to the shooting point. It takes a pretty big studio.
Your studio is not a bowling alley.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess it depends on where you're shooting. If you're shooting outside, you may not have a problem with that. Oh,
I when I was in Bali, I shot a cockfight, right?
yeah.
And so I used predominantly the 7200 at wide open 2.8, and then I used 20 frames per second, blah blah blah, animal eye detect, and I tell you, it nailed that chicken's eye like I tell you, it just nailed it. And then the buffer, my wife's camera is going dot 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 dot, and I'm going dot 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 on and on and on. So then I look at the files and I go, holy crap, man, I nailed it. It is tack sharp right at the chicken's eye. It was impressive. I said, man, this is the shit, man.
Good to hear. Glad you had a good time with it. Absolutely.
Oh,
Hey, Robert, I
used
want
it
to
a
throw
lot.
something at Robert Daniels real quick. ET3, buddy. ET3. All right, we can continue.
Now, how is it that the bots didn't pop in that conversation, but
I
they did
don't
when
know.
Jeff
I don't
was
know.
talking Nothing
I thought the
earlier.
same thing. Here we go. I thought. Yeah. So anyway, let me throw this up here. Hey, by the way, Amar, there is a link in your email if you want to join. But I watched your video, and while I agree with you, I also agree with everybody that can dream and want something. Whether they want to shoot with it doesn't matter. You know, if they want it, they can get it. You know, everybody wants a Zonda, but they're not going to take it out and go 180 miles an hour in it. They just want it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Space people in some countries.
Roy says the old 80 to 200 is even sharper than the 70 to 200. I don't know.
Well,
I can't.
I that's debatable. I use that 8200 a lot, and I tell you, when they changed it, it was a godsend. I didn't like it. It was just neither here or there. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time ago, you know.
For me, the 70 to 200 S is so astonishingly sharp. There is something about it. I mean, I use it all the time. It's pretty flat in my opinion. As much as I like it, it is the perfect baseline to do a lot in post, which is like good for me. But it's my complaint with all the Z lens. I just wish they had a little bit more character. But it is astonishingly sharp. I mean, offensive how sharp it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fast. I love it. That was my go-to lens.
It is quick too. I shot 806 photos of my dog running around in the backyard, and I think over 700 of them were not just sharp, but like spot on.
Yeah, Mike, I agree with you again. The 300 is incredibly sharp, no doubt about it. But I think that we're going to see Z lenses that approach that as well now. As a matter of fact, there are several that are probably getting to that point, being as sharp. And I have the 200 f2, which is incredibly sharp. But they do render the photos different. Now, if you're talking about that, then that's a different conversation. But as far as sharpness, I don't know how sharp we want anything anymore. Again, I don't jump on that boat of it's, got to be insanely sharp, because for portraits, I'm sorry, as long as the eyes are sharp, the rest of it doesn't need to be incredibly sharp.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right, Chuck. I mean, they're all sharp. It's just which one do you like has character, and I think character plays an important part, although it is kind of subjective.
Yeah.
But they're all sharp. I mean, that 40 mm f2 that costs like $218. My God, that thing is sharp too.
Yeah,
it's on sale for $250 right now. It's awesome. I love that lens. I use it all the time.
You got it. You got it, Z-Wade. I mean, it is.
I love it.
What a deal!
What a deal! What a deal! Same thing with the 28. The 28, I got it basically for free with the ZFC, and that lens is baller too.
Exactly.
They're all good. If I can, I'd like to answer Jeff and Leslie Wildlife and Nature Photography's question. In my opinion, no, not really, but yes. Ever since I got into the Z system, it's the first time in the 8 or 9 years or whatever that I've been shooting that I actually pull texture back a little bit, which is really just contrast for your highlights. I actually pull that back for portraits because I do find the Z system to be kind of offensively sharp for portraits sometimes, especially with the Z7 or the Z7 series and probably the Z9 going forward. And so it can be too sharp, but it's nothing you can't fix. But if you just leave your photos alone and you deliver that to like a teenager for senior photos, they're going to hate them. All the acne and all the imperfect skin that teenagers have,
Hey, Mike, I can answer your question. No, it's not worth the price, not in this day and age. It is an incredible lens, but if Nikon wants to reproduce it for the Z line, then that may be a different story. But you're right. And just like you said about the 300, it's just butter smooth in the background. But it only works if the background has the right distance from the subject, which everybody seems to forget. They see somebody using these lenses and say, look at the background. But I could take that lens and go out in the backyard and shoot it. And you'd say, well, your lens is no good.
There's somebody earlier mentioned the 105-1.4, and
Yeah.
it was always my opinion. Like that lens looked good, but it was never. What was it like? Over $3,000. It was never that good. Never. It was.
Yeah.
It was good. It was nice. Don't get me wrong. Nikon always does good at 105s, but that lens was. If they bring that to the Z line, I'm afraid it's going to be like over $4,000 because they're going to be coasting on the hype that lens had.
Yeah.
And I just never thought it was that dang good.
Yeah. So I think again, though, we go back to we just overrate sharpness sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
we're just addicted to everything in the photo is sharp or I don't know. I think we take it overboard. It's the character of the lens, I think, that really counts most. And a lot of people fall in love. You see people in here talking about the 80-200. If you fell in love with that lens, there's nothing wrong with that, whether it's sharp, not sharp, or whatever. But you know, with the new Z mount glass, obviously there are some other things that help out besides its incredible sharpness. I mean, just the VR that they have in a lot of these lenses now is fantastic, along with the VR in the camera. That should go across the spectrum with Nikon bodies as all the other bodies come out underneath the Z9, the upgrades to the Z6 II and Z7 or 7 II. But we'll have to wait and see.
There's a comment in here. Let me see. Why do you think Sigma hasn't entered the Z ecosystem yet? Is Nikon restricting third parties? Well, yes, they did restrict third parties, but then they've also said in their corporate philosophy or their plan down the road to engage in further licensing. And I interpreted that as that they will eventually open it up to Sigma and others. But you know, they want to try to get you to buy their lenses first. I mean, there's, you know, Canon does the same thing, you know, so eventually they'll open it up. And I think they really need to open it up on the APS-C front because they do not have enough lenses for APS-C.
Sorry, got a string glitch going. Not for you guys, but yeah, John, every now and then it does, but it doesn't last. So,
Oh, okay. No problem.
I think the interwebs are crowded tonight. Have been all day for whatever reason.
4th of July.
Yeah, maybe. You've got Roy was talking about that down in Australia, Internet Tonight. Yes.
We had a good thunderstorm come through and popped my circuit breaker up here in the office. I had to reset it before the show came on.
There you go. Wow. Yeah, please, if you guys haven't, go hit the like button again. It helps me out. It motivates me more than it does anything, I think, because my status in YouTube land is not that big, but it makes me feel better. So, and if you're new here and you enjoy the conversation, and we do this all the time, every Wednesday and every Saturday night, if you enjoy it, you know, consider subscribing too. I'd appreciate that. I'm just a little guy down in the algorithm of YouTube. I'm chasing Jared Polin. I'm only 1,339,265 subscribers away, so I'm getting there.
It doesn't matter, Chuck.
You'll get there, Chuck, in about 30 years, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you've watched his Instagram story recently. You may catch up in a couple weeks.
I definitely missed that. Then.
What happens, Z-Wade?
Oh,
thanks, Amar. Thanks for jumping in there.
Too many Patriots in here to mention. I'm just saying, if you're a Patriot, don't watch. just don't watch it.
It's just on IG, not on YouTube.
Yeah, it's in his Instagram stories. They've been very salty lately.
Yeah, no kidding. That guy, I don't know what the issue is. You know?
He changed hair products, and it's not.
They should have tested that one on animals first because it's causing some certain side effects.
Hey, by the way, Z-Wade, I really enjoyed your delivery of the Z9 when you got it.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been it's thrown off my YouTube schedule. Typically I just like I release on my high traffic days, which is like 2 to 3 days. But I'm just like I've just been cranking out stuff because it's like, well, I'm out shooting it anyway. And so, you know, yeah, I'm just throwing out all kinds of stuff.
Well,
I love it, man.
congrats. Congrats.
Thank you.
Take care, 24/7 Media Group.
That's Amar.
Randall throws out is the Megadap adapter from Sony E mount to Z mount. Did they get a license from Nikon? I would say I doubt it very much. You got to realize you got companies like lens manufacturers like Voigtlander and others that are making DX lenses for APS-C cameras, Nikon, and they reverse engineer. They try to figure out the best they can how the autofocus system is working in the Nikon camera, and they do their best to come up with a lens that'll work. But they're taking a risk in doing that, because if you're not officially licensed, Nikon doesn't share a lot of information with you, and they could always do a firmware update that makes it so your lenses don't work anymore on a Nikon camera. So it's kind of you're playing a game of Russian roulette.
Okay, we're not talking about mechanical genius here and internal. All we're talking about is throughput with, contacts on an adapter. So it's not adding anything or taking anything away. It's nothing more than a mount that allows the use of the Sony lenses. It's not like building a lens from ground up. And, oh, by the way, especially an autofocus lens. So, that's the licensing that everybody's waiting for. So they get all Nikon's, skinny on autofocus and everything else. So Nikon has too many gaps in the Z line to open up the mount right now, in his opinion. I agree, Moz, man. I mean, that's definitely something they're probably looking at. You're right. I mean, just like I said a few minutes ago, I know a guy that said he shoots Nikon. He's tired of waiting for the 2-600. He's going to get the Megadap adapter, and he's going to go get the Sony 2-600. And everybody will complain. Everybody will say, well, whatever. You're too impatient. You're not being impatient. You're getting what you want. If that's what you want to do, by all means, go do it. I put the blame on Nikon. Again, 400 millimeter. Come on, guys. You could have dropped this 2-600 in here somewhere, but maybe the fear is it's so good that people will say, I don't want the 400.
They should. Well, they should license it out at least to somebody like Voigtlander who only messes with manual focus lenses. That way, it's still kind of like a smaller market for like someone like me who likes incredibly well constructed lenses, and I don't care if it's manual focus. At least something like that, maybe not like a Tamron or Sigma yet, but
well, as long as they're made in China, I don't think it matters. They'll you can make whatever you want there. I'm surprised they don't have a Chinese Z9 yet.
Well, they got to get the 2-600 out. They got to get the 85 1.2 out. Then they obviously got to have some faster lenses that are prime wide angle lenses.
Yeah,
they need to do that, and I think once they do that, and you're probably only talking, 4 or 5 lenses, then I think most people would be pretty satisfied with their offerings. I mean, it's not like they're 20 lenses away from making the world happy. I mean, they're probably only a half a dozen lenses or less away from making 95% of the people really happy.
Yeah.
The problem is, Jeff, is they can't deliver.
Yeah.
Well, and man, now you're gonna get me started, John.
You just set the clock now. We're in trouble.
We just introduced another camera that current Nikon shooters aren't necessarily interested in, that may take away production from other cameras they could be producing. I don't know that for a fact, but everybody's giving Nikon a pass. Well, they're such a small company. Well, so you accept, hey, we're going to just drop the ball right now and go full on production, because this has to be a full on production. It may be easier to produce, I will give you that. But I mean, the quantities of these, if you're going to fill the pallets at Costco and Walmart, I mean, how many cameras are we talking about? And if you don't, is that going to hurt the sale of this camera? So I don't know.
You know, for the Z30, I don't know where it's being made, but if Nikon if they're smart about it, they'll do it in China, because mostly everything's coming out of Taiwan, which I'm fine with. Everything's perfectly fine quality, but if as long as they don't convolute the Taiwanese production lines, I think they'll be fine.
No, thank you, man. Live audience to subscriber ratio is excellent. I watch guitar channels that have 20,000 subs, couldn't even pull 50 in live. Man, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah,
Chuck would like the 20,000 subs though too.
Yeah, you know what? No, you know what I want? If I'm going to be honest, if it's going to be about monetization, get me to 12 or 1,500. That's it. And get me 50,000 views per. Because it don't matter how many subs you got. That's only for a plaque to put on the wall. It matters how many people are viewing your content. So I'll take viewers over subs any day. But again, that's not my agenda here. I would like to get over 1,000, and we will eventually. And that's just the way it is. But thank you very much, Neth. I appreciate that.
Hey, Mike Farwell. Interesting on the wait for the Z9. As far as the pre-orders go, I think they're shipping ones that were pre-ordered basically through December, but I have seen Adorama from time to time promising them, like this was like last month, but they were promising them by like the end of July. And so it's actually, now is the time, if you don't have one, to actually shop around and see if anybody has like an order coming that's not spoken for.
Talking about softening up the sharpness, I guess. B&W Softar on my 105 2.5 back then. Today's obsession on sharpness probably drives some people to film. Excellent. You're probably right. And we have some film shooters in here, by the way.
What, film like this? Film?
There you go.
Tri-X.
Oh, there you go. Wow, Jeff.
Tri-X, editing digital files that come from Tri-X are as close to editing a digital file as you could ever get. There's so much headroom in that film. I was astonished.
See, Mozman, you're on it, man. You're keeping me honest here. I hadn't even thought about that. There has to be a pass-through, but is the firmware in the camera, or is it in the FTZ? I don't know, but that's a good point. How many Z lenses does Nikon have? I think I heard Becky say that Nikon's up to 38 or 39 lenses in the roadmap.
Somebody in chat answered that.
Yeah, Mozman, I think, threw in the number
31.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that Becky responded to that the other day. Even now, here you go, talking about the Z30 and the 4.5 400. When they first talked about those two new items, you could tell that they were not exactly pleased. But on the second run, when they discussed it yesterday or the day before, all of a sudden they had changed their tune.
Maybe Nikon reached out to them and said, I'm sorry, aren't you a Nikon retailer?
Yes.
They probably said, well, you've only been getting 2 Z9s a month. That could be 0.
Hey, Becky or Con, I'm not saying you guys did that, but it was noticeable in the first, talk about it.
Nikon called them and said, you're about to be the blacklisted of Westminster, okay? So
talking about, I guess...
talking about Fro snapping at him in the comment section.
That's a shame, man. I answer all the comments, good or bad. I don't snap at anybody. I don't think I do. If I have it, anybody, you can let me know, and I'll make sure that's not the case. But I definitely will answer your question. And sometimes you can change my mind. So feel free to throw comments after the fact, because I got to tell you, I'll tell on myself, I don't go back and rewatch these for 3 hours to look at all the comments. I try to watch them as they go by now in the chat, but I'm not going to go back and rewatch 3 hours to see all the comments. But yeah, if you want to comment after it rolls over into video, by all means. I think everybody here will attest, unless I missed yours, I answer all the comments. I don't know how long I can continue to do that, but I will as long as I can. All right. He was right. I was giving him back in. I already did that. So let's see where we at. When can I order a Z10?
Well, you know what? I haven't looked because I have one, but I mean, I got lucky with getting a lens from Best Buy actually when nobody else had one. So
Yeah.
I wonder if Best Buy, you know, you might even want to check them for a Z9 because they may surprise you.
Yeah.
Wait,
He wants the new
Jeff,
Z10.
Jeff, you got your Z9 at Best Buy?
No, I bought
Oh.
I bought a lens that I couldn't get at B&H or
I
anywhere
see.
else. I picked it up at Best Buy.
I was about to say, that is astonishing.
Yeah.
Mozman got one for Gustavo at Best Buy. That's why I'm saying by the end of the year, the real backlog on the Z9, I think, will be down to a minimum.
I think Nikon did a really good job of like upping the production. Like, I mean, I was getting really impatient that I had to wait until June. But the fact that now you're actually seeing some places able to get some that aren't spoken for, like they've obviously were able to do some things to ramp up their production, and so
Yeah.
that's a good sign that Nikon is still flexible. You know, they're not totally backed into a corner.
So
Look
when they give a
what
date,
Mike just said.
B&H gives a date, and they're up to November 5th or whatever. How many orders came in after that? So the point is that they may not be too far from exhausting their list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike Farwell says, let's see, you can get the Z9 with a lens in 5 days at Best Buy.
Really? 5 days.
Is that with the lens or with the FTZ2?
No problem, Jeff.
Well, he just said lens. He didn't say what type.
Hey, Courage Studios, you get a chance, roll back to the beginning. Not that we won't talk about it again, but we covered the Z30 earlier. We're on the lens mania now. We started with what's your favorite portrait lens. So and now we're on the Z9. I mean, that's how we are here, man. That's how we roll. Shiny object and we're gone.
Goes from the Z30 to the 400 to grits to back to the Z9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go. There's another
bought
Z30 comment.
two Z9s.
Randall,
True
I didn't
Best
see
Buy.
you in here. Didn't see you in here earlier, but yeah, we talked about the Z30. But if you're talking about get more people involved with Nikon, also more fun coming in will help making the make believe Z8. Yeah, of course, any revenue that comes in is good revenue, no doubt about that. I think you know what they would have sold Z8s out. It would far exceed what the Z9 has sold. Far exceed it. I'll tell you that right now. And that's what we were talking about. Will the Z30 do the same? And is it easier to produce, or will the production take precedent over anything else new in the Nikon lineup that's coming out? So there are a lot of things to think about or talk about. Will this bring people to Nikon? Vloggers maybe, but is it really an entry level camera that we can expect people to get into the Nikon brand? I don't know. I don't think so, but we'll see. We shall see. But thanks for being in here, man. Again,
I still think we need to see a $550 some odd dollar camera to get people to buy them for their kid for their birthday. I don't think they're going to swing, especially now, like with the economic ecosystem that we're in. It's like if you want a birthday or a Christmas present for somebody, it's got to be less than $700, you know, or $850 with a lens.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it is that bare bones entry level camera. I think it's specifically like a vlogging camera, you know.
Yeah, but can't iPhone 13 Max do the same damn thing?
Yeah, and you know, I actually mentioned that earlier. Like if like a 14, 15, 16-year-old today were to get the Z30, I mean, they would take pictures like this anyway, so they wouldn't use the EVF. But I still don't think the price is low enough for they're probably going to ask for a phone for Christmas anyway. So instead of
the
a camera,
phone will cost more
Well,
anyway.
Okay, so here's
Pretty
the
well
deal on
cost
that.
more.
Let me throw that out there real quick, and you guys tear it up. You know, everybody said, "Well, it's cheaper than a cell phone." Nobody's given up their phone for this camera,
no.
so that's not even in the equation to say that. Well, yeah, it
No,
is
I'm
cheaper.
just saying, if you can afford $1,000 plus phone, you could probably afford $1,000 camera.
No, you're right, Jeff. But I mean, I've seen people use that as another. Well, this is what makes this better, or whatever. No, you're not. Nobody's giving up their phone for
No.
this camera. And the other thing is, a lot of people aren't going to carry a phone and this bar of soap around in their hand. Okay.
Exactly.
It depends. If soap on a rope, maybe.
Yeah, but the phone, you
I'm
can
only-
edit right away. You can
Yeah.
edit it. You can do whatever. Put it in iMovie within 10 minutes, and put it in Film Pro Mac or whatever they use, and then upload it within minutes. And you don't have to deal with that Snapseed, not Snapseed. What is it that they use? The Nikon software
SnapBridge.
never works.
SnapBridge.
Yeah, that
SnapBridge.
SnapBridge is a joke. You know,
Yeah.
they got too many extra steps. Your iPhone can just do it in one go.
Firmware update, the Nikon Z30. You can take it to Verizon or AT&T and say, I want to get this set up, and you get the Instagram app. So you take your picture and put it directly on Instagram.
But believe it or not, that's part of the marketing for that camera is video in vertical mode,
Right.
because you can't do that with. Can you? I don't know. I've never pulled it in. Well, and that's another thing. Uploading video. Now you're going to have to actually, unless you're just vlogging raw, and then you're going to dump it onto YouTube or other social media platforms. I mean, are you going to edit? Are we saying that this is where people get their entry level video learning and whatever? I don't know. So I don't know. And again, I don't want to keep picking on it. You know, I hope Nikon succeeds with this, because it's bad for all of us if they don't. So now we all got to cheer for this camera, whether we like it or not.
Well, I'm
Well,
not going to buy it.
No,
Yeah.
what Nikon?
No, you got to go buy it now, John.
No, I'm not buying it.
You got to support Nikon.
No,
Ni-
yeah, come on. You know, I got $500,000 worth of their stuff.
Well,
I'm
this is
not buying
only
it.
$709 body only.
Sell all of that stuff in the background, buy the Z30, and also a house. Like trade it all in.
Oh,
Oh, by the way, speaking of expensive cameras, Diana, she fell in a rice paddy the other day, and it destroyed her 907 Hasselblad.
oh man, Terry Breedlove just had this issue. He fell out of his kayak and lost his.
Oh my! And then she's got this huge shiner, you know, because she had her Leica SL, and it with the L plane, and it banged her. Oh, luckily, right near the eye, and it cut her.
Oh,
So,
I said you're gonna
man,
fix
what
that
an
for
emergency.
Hasselblad.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that was
Leicas are
15,000.
dangerous.
Oh, it just whacked. Oh my! I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. So I said, "Never mind. I'm such a good husband. You can have my 907. I never use it anyway."
Hey, Joe, that's not. I haven't seen the video you're talking about. One, I never watch their videos. I'm not giving them a view because that gives them money. I'm not subscribed to them, but that doesn't sound unusual for Tony to talk about how the Z9. I don't understand them. There's just such a hatred, I think, for Nikon, because Nikon's basically brushed them off now and won't give them anything to review. So
I'm surprised anybody does with that early leak that they pulled.
Oh yeah, they broke an NDA. They let let the A7 IV video out. They had it, the pre-production model to review, and they dropped the video before the embargo lifted.
Oh
I'm
my
sure-
God, that's a mortal sin. You can't do
Yes.
that. Oh my God, that's
So I'm sure everybody said, you know what? I don't think we'll give him anything right now because exactly, John, that's a big deal.
that's a big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not willing to waste my worthwhile time to watch their channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't fool with them anymore. I do still like Photo News Fix for the humor, but you know, the other ones I'm just like, I don't have time for it.
I like Vaughan.
I did too.
Yeah. Yeah, it does vertical video, space people. That was the big deal as part of it because it has to for vlogging for so many of the social media sites.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever tried vlogging, Chuck?
No, I don't even do video. Vahagan's on me every day. When are you going to put out a video? I don't know, man. I don't know. I like this live stream. You know, YouTube does all the work for me. I just get on there and live stream and they make it a video after the fact.
Oh, I love to make one, you know, using that. Hey, you too can be a millionaire. Have you ever thought about Bitcoin cryptocurrency? Well, let me show you how.
Oh,
I'm actually considering starting a second channel specifically for to tell people where they screwed up on day trading, just because I'm good at reading charts. And so since everybody else is like telling people I'm not a financial advisor, but this is going to run and all this stuff, like I'm good at reading charts and I'm super conservative and everybody else is like YOLO. And so I'm like, I think I could be really successful just telling people, look at this chart. This is why you lost money. That was a bad trade. And I think it'll just blow up. And that'll be my income. Photography could just be like my, you know, my passion. And the cash cow will be telling people how bad they are.
It's a good thing I don't have Ronald in here or Vahagan in here with this comment. Yaman, I guess, made a comment, and Tony doubled down on the fact that he says the R7 has better AF than the Z9. I don't see how that's possible, but
No,
I don't know. Hey, I wanted to ask you regarding Vaughan's last video when he bought those two lenses from that kid.
yeah.
Hey, what was that Lamborghini? That kid's car?
I don't know. I think it may have been because he kind of indicated it was, but when I talked to him later, he didn't say that the kid.
And he's 18 years old. I said, hey, I was washing dishes at 18.
I know, and you know, and I told people that they said, you know, 18-year-olds aren't buying blah blah blah. I said, you don't know 18-year-olds. You haven't been around them lately. I don't know where they're getting the money, but they got money to spend.
I mean, that's a Lambo. I don't know how much they cost, but I'm sure it's big money. 18, and he's got 2.8 lenses that he just basically gave away to Vaughan.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say anything. I'm just saying those were super, super nice. A little bit sus. A little bit sus.
A little bit sus.
nobody throws deals like that at me. I'm just saying. You know?
I mean, Vaughan never mentioned the price, but
no,
he seemed awful excited about what he was paying.
Yeah,
for.
no kidding.
Yeah, he I think he got a considerable discount. I don't think the kid gave him away, but you know, definitely discounted. And that's what Vaughan was talking about. The one lens he hadn't even used, the kid hadn't used. But
yeah,
hey, who knows? I'm telling you, these kids, they've got $300 tennis shoes and a $1,300 cell phone. Don't tell me they don't have money, and it may not be theirs, but they're getting it somewhere. So,
well, all I know, when I was 18, I was driving my dad's old beat up station wagon that I had to pour a quart of oil in it every time I got home.
Yeah, so that's our story from growing up. Yeah,
when I was 18, my Chevy Blazer, the idler pulley went out, and my mom had to take me to prom. Okay, that was me at 18.
Loser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my date in the back seat of like a Dodge Neon or something.
Everybody say hi to Briar. He's out walking in the neighborhood, but he said he's listening in and having a ball listening to us. So that's great, Briar.
Hey, how about a 72 Ford 500 Galaxy, man? Talk about a aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to kick on the afterburners just to make a decent turn, huh?
Those carburetors be sucking in birds.
Oh, so Miles Man cleared that up. It wasn't the kids. He asked him that. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, I feel better.
That kid probably took his college loan and had a bunch left over and bought a couple lenses and hated them.
I guess this is for you, John. Roy's asking about his internet keeps dropping, so he may have missed that conversation.
Oh, okay. The whole Hassie is toast. It's not an underwater camera. I saw it in the rice paddy irrigation ditch, and I said, I said, hey, I said, sweetie, you better go get your digital back. It's in the water. It was gone. It ain't waterproof. It ain't no Z9.
Oh man,
God!
I hate
around
to
her
hear
neck
that.
is just the
Hello,
land.
Mrs. Jeff.
Hi.
How are you? Thanks for letting Jeff play with us so long at night.
I gave up on him a long time ago.
Oh, nice to meet you, ma'am.
You too.
Notice
Don't worry,
she
Jeff,
says
we
that
accept
while
you.
she's not in the camera view.
Well, yeah, my wife too. She stands way over there. You can't see to talk to me if she needs me while I'm in here in the stream.
The only time you saw me was because I was petting the dog.
Yeah, she was petting the dog that's underneath my desk, so that was more important. And
Yeah.
I know where I stand.
Hey, Chuck, I sent you an
lower
email.
than whale. You know.
Okay.
Check it out.
All right.
Send you-
All right. We'll
I sent
do,
you
buddy.
a picture.
Now, Chuck,
Okay.
I noticed that whenever you were mentioning your wife, you looked off in the same direction that you always return from with snacks. Is she just got snacks over there for you to get you through the stream?
Well, I accused her a while back of trying to get me fat because
It ain't working though, Chuck. You're not.
Yeah.
You don't have any extra meat on you at all.
No, I know. Actually, I quit eating like a pig, and I have a gene, man, that just I can't actually get too heavy. I don't know what it is.
You're lucky.
I know everybody says that, but yeah, I don't know. But I lost my 6-pack abs probably 20 years ago. And she says, you could get that back if you wanted to. Keyword wanted to.
It's too much
You
work.
can get that.
Geez, I'm the type of guy. If I had a Tootsie Roll, I'd gain 5 pounds overnight.
Yeah. That's the difference between my brother and I. He can look at brownies and gain weight.
Yeah.
Oh man. Let's see. Here we go. From Mr. Hassan. Just picked up a like new $3,000 camera for $2,000 from a very reputable dealer. Well, share with us. What kind of camera did you pick up, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, who's giving stuff away?
Yeah,
Let me in
turn
on
us
that
on to
action.
the. Yeah.
You might not want to share that information. You might be going back for more.
Joe, I'm still in my $30 New Balance. Yeah, me too, buddy. Me too. I have shoes that my wife actually threw away or tried to throw away. I keep them. She said, "What for?" I said, "Because I can work in the yard in them." She said, "Why? You're just going to ruin your good ones in the yard?" And then you she's right.
I have the pair of yard sneakers in the garage as well.
So I'm so far behind here. I'm just going through throwing these up. Everybody talking about their car. My first cat.
I
was
love
a
this
Pontiac.
stream. I love the stream. Now
76 Ford Pinto's a flamethrower, man.
See, you know what? A lot of people, John, this shows our age when we bring up stuff like this
Yeah,
because,
no kidding.
yeah, 20 somethings have no idea what that's all about.
65 Le Mans. I can relate to that. My old man had a 74 Le Mans station wagon. Drove clear across the states with it. One to stop at Reptile Park in South Dakota. Watch that sign for 2,000 miles. Reptile Park, South Dakota. And when we got there, 50 feet away from that sign, he passed. He just drives right by it. We've been watching that sign on I-90 for at least 1,500 miles. Reptile Park, South Dakota. Only 2 more miles. Zoom.
Uh-oh, I hear the boss coming. She must have heard me talking about her. All good, by the way.
She's bringing you cookies. Cookies.
She just laughed when you said that. She does. She keeps stuff in here. I tell her, don't buy all that stuff. And here it comes again. Here comes a cake. But then again, I do make my own brownies every now and then and fudge and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. What's in the brownies?
Yeah. Well, funny you should mention that because, oh, shoot, Stu Blue was going to come in tonight. He's out at Yellowstone. He didn't tell me that. He just sent me a note saying, can I partake in whatever, his, oh, shoot. He's going to become a marijuana grower or seller or whatever when that gets passed out there or something. Anyway, I said, by all means, man. And I thought that meant he's coming in. He was just messing with me. So, yeah, his brownies, I would suspect, could be that way. 67 Datsun. Man, there's another one. What's a Datsun, people would say? It's been Nissan since. Well, it was always Nissan, but it became the brand name Nissan, took on the corporate name, about 77, 78, maybe 9. They got rid of Datsun and went right to Nissan. I only know that because I worked at a Nissan dealership washing cars. There you go.
There you go, Chuck. There you go. And that's a real job.
Yep.
Huh?
Oh, man.
Let's take a joyride in this 240Z, huh?
Yeah. 240, 260, 280. I was there for all of those.
Yeah.
They just got fatter and fatter and heavier and heavier.
Yeah.
But I'll take the new one.
Where are we at here? There you go. And she kind of does. She kind of does. Now look at Z-Wade making me Jones for another cup of coffee, which means I have to make a pot. Oh.
Are you going to drink it out of your Z-Wade photo? Look, doesn't that look just like me?
Oh, that's a great logo. Did you make that?
I did.
You design that?
Yeah.
Very creative.
Well, I didn't design it. I mean, I bought the stock images. That way I could actually put them in like a merch store that nobody shops in. But yeah, it's just 3 different images and I put them together in Photoshop.
Well, if you got some merch on that, I'll buy it.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, at my website there's some.
Okay.
I don't know what the automatic price. They just alerted me that they were upping their. I don't have to fool with the costs or anything like that, but they up their, just like everything else. There's a shortage of everything, but not a shortage of lies about the shortages. So I'm sure they jumped it up 20 cents or something. It was nice even numbers.
So Terry's getting a new 503. Wow, congratulations. I tell you, hell of a camera, man.
See,
I love mine. I'm glad. I feel sad that I got rid of it to this day. 503, that was killer.
Why can't we all be independently rich so that we can keep all the cameras we've had and say, I wish I'd never gotten rid of it?
Well, I had to go buy a wedding ring with that. And we had a 2.8.
I like to. Where's Diana? He had to go buy a wedding ring.
You
I
should.
didn't
You
have any
needed
money,
to
so I had.
say. You need to
That's why
change that.
that's why when you mentioned that 300 2.8, it brings back. Oh yeah, man, I remember bringing that in, get some money to buy that wedding ring.
And how does she repay you? By tossing the 50 or the 907 into the marsh.
What can I say?
Yeah, you need to rephrase your statement to "I wanted to get that ring."
Yeah, right. Size matters, correct? So I want to get that. So there goes the 503 and the 300 2.8.
Yeah.
I used it on my F5.
I want a 907 so bad, man. That's one of my dream cameras, man. If I
Is
ever,
it really?
yes.
Well, let me tell you, it is unbelievable. The color on it is
I bet
crazy.
it's astonishing. I just like that the thing with those level of cameras is like you're getting, it's like we have these 35 millimeters over here, and those things are like a slice of American cheese. Just these gigantic sensors.
Well, my wife is an expert on 907s. She's been all kinds of accolades from Hasselblad and all over the world. Her pictures of using Hasselblad is amazing. She's really, really good with it. For me, I'm not, because it's a lot of
fantastic photographer, man.
Where can I find her shots at? Is it you guys have is she got like a website or something?
Yes, Instagram.
Yeah, you can try her IG.
What is it at?
Her IG, Instagram. Diana Ishii. Just Diana and ISHII together. Oh yeah, here's her Hasselblad picture now.
Yeah, D850s are priced right for a lot of anybody that's looking. D850s, everything F mount is.
Oh God, it's so robust and contrasty. It's unreal.
You see it?
Oh yeah, those. I mean, you just look at them and they're like HASI files. They're so good.
Yeah, and she doesn't even.
The processing is beautiful.
He just took that the other day. The one with the Balinese lady.
That is a beautiful picture.
There you go, space people. I could have had a sweet Z9 with Trinity lenses, but I bought a roof instead. It's probably a good move, brother. Oh, I could live with the leaks, but I got the Trinity.
Yeah, you need the roof fixed so that when you buy the Trinity, it doesn't get wet.
I could have had a V8.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to turn over to you guys. I'm going to go put on a pot of coffee. I will be right back. Keep everybody in order. When I get back, I'm going to open the phone line up. That ought to be fun too. So
the HOA Karens would not have allowed that in my. Oh man.
Well, Brett, John, you got two D300s, a D850, a D500, a Z62. Wow.
John, how long have you been shooting? This is the first time I think we've really chatted.
Well, I've been shooting for many 40, 50 years. I'm a retired photojournalist.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So I shot for mostly for the Wire, for AP, Associated Press, AFP, and magazines. Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, etc.
Yeah, that's the kind of photography that I wish I could go do. Like I call them dick in the dirt photographers. They're out there in the mess, doing it. That's why my favorite photographer is I'm drawing blank now. That's disgusting. It's getting late over here, but Oh my God, Afghan Girl, Steve McCurry.
Yeah.
Just because he got that experience of just being in it. I want to be in it at least for a little bit,
Oh yeah.
just to experience being in it. And
I was in it. I was in it. Yeah, I got beat up. You get all kinds of, but it's, and then the pressure
Mhm.
of getting that shot and getting it out to your editors by, you know, by the deadline. It's a whole new level, of pressure.
Right.
And so that's why all my gear has to be absolutely rock solid,
Yeah.
because I cannot, there's no failure in this game. I
Right.
cannot fail. I got to
Right.
come up with goods. So I covered many things. I was in the big tsunami in Phuket, Thailand. So I was the first pictures out there. I covered politics, and in sports. You got to know your game. You shoot sports, because one day you're shooting football or track and field, and then the next day you're shooting a press conference, and the next day you're shooting something super boring. The next day you're getting rocks thrown at you. So you really got to know your game and your audience.
Yeah.
Who are you shooting
This
for?
this week we're gonna fly you out to shoot the Yankees, but be prepared because you need vaccinations because we're sending you to a war-torn country tomorrow.
Yeah.
The day after. I'm super jealous of this guy. This guy that is in the Wichita area. I asked him how he did it. He said you literally just go to like the Associated Press and say, hey, this is what I've done. But he actually got to go to Ukraine and shoot some over there. And I'm like super jealous of it. I'm talking like bulletproof vest, helmets, all that stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
the adventure is what I
But
want. I want that experience.
But it's very, very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you really got to put yourself out on the line, and there's only certain people. Like my friend just got back. He's a what do you call video guy for Vice News. So he was in Sri Lanka covering that, and they're just going nuts. And he's got to stick it out. They're firing. They're what do you call those water cannons and tear gas, and you got to get in the shit, man.
Yeah.
So it takes a different type of character. But if you shoot something like sports, there's so many sports venues. The important thing about sports is, if I could give a tip to anybody, is you shoot for emotion.
Right.
Winning, losing, and make sure you don't shoot, number 25. Nobody knows who they are. You want to shoot Michael Jordan or the guy.
Right.
You don't want to shoot the second stringer, even though it's a killer shot, because
Right.
your editor goes, "Hey, who the hell is this guy?" Where's
Why
your
did you
Michael
send me
Jordan,
5,000 images and I'm only interested in the one guy?
Right. So you got to know your game, and you got to know
Yeah.
where to position yourself. So is very important, especially like golf. You don't follow the guy. You don't follow him for all 18 holes. You go to the most important holes and watch your background. What's in the background? Because that's going to indicate where you are. So if you're at Augusta, then you want to show a background that you are there and not some golf course in some other country. And then you make sure you shoot for the emotion.
And John Gustavo's asking, are those yellow boxes behind you slide boxes?
Exactly. I got tons of them. They're all my slides. I keep every single image I ever shot in my life, negatives, positives, and slides, and positives, and all those up there are all filled with boxes of slides. I keep them, and they're in perfect shape. So what I do is, when I archive it, I'll use that what is it called, Nikon MC2, and attach it to a macro lens and use a light source behind it, and copy the slide, and then I can fix it in Photoshop, adjust the colors, and sharpen it in Topaz. And I tell you, it brings whole new life to those images that were taken 25, 30 years ago.
Let's see who we got here.
He came back with snacks.
Yeah. And Terry, he says his first DSLR was a Nikon D100. Well, that makes two of us. That was my first digital camera as well.
D100?
The D100.
Yeah, great. It came out when 19 or 2001, 2000.
It was probably at least 20 years ago.
Have you guys ever seen
easy?
Have you guys ever seen the pictures of like the first digital camera from like the 70s? Oh, it's heinous and grotesque and vulgar. But I mean, it's innovative. I think it was 0.01 megapixels. It seriously looks like a fax machine. It's pretty wild. You ought to look it up.
Was it made by Honeywell?
No, it was just like a single engineer, I think, worked on it. I'll see if I can find like a. It's really interesting, but it is absolutely repulsive. If you like attractive gear, which I do, even though looks don't matter, I still like a good looking piece of tech, you know.
Cookies, Greg.
I think Kodak actually was the financier of it.
Well, we had a professional photographer in the aerospace business that I worked in, and I remember in the early days he had a Kodak digital back on a Nikon body.
Yeah,
that's what he used.
I used.
Go ahead.
I used a Kodak back on a Canon film, Canon EOS 1 film body.
Here you go.
PCA my cards.
It is grotesque. It's got.
Where's the neck strap? Where's the straps?
It's seriously just type it in. The guy that built it name was Steve Sasson, and it's seriously as big as like it's bigger than his head. It's huge. It looks like it looks like stuff was pulled out of the trash to make it, and it somehow worked.
Hey, John, Space People wants to know, what do you use to scan your slides?
I use that. Here, let me get it.
Yeah,
Man, we can run the gambit here.
Well, your picture is frozen on my screen, John.
You're good on mine.
It's called a film digitizing adapter ES2 Nikon.
Oh, is that okay? That came out with the D850 when it did.
Yeah, and then I attach it to the 50 macro, 158 50 macro 2.8, and then just use a light source. So just Google it, ES2.
Greg, I'm not seeing it on this end. The spam.
I see it on YouTube.
Okay.
I have YouTube running on my secondary monitor. That way, because it's easier for me to type over here and it's over there.
Yeah, I see it now. So I blocked it from Restream the last time. I thought I blocked it from YouTube the time before, but who knows?
YouTube does a absolutely terrible job at like regulating these bots. Like I get so many spam things popping up and like the flagged for review. Like there's so many of them. Oh, there's so many of them. I actually got attacked whenever I made my video in support of Vahagraphy, whenever he first kicked up the dust. And I seriously, like, just that drama, I guess. Oh my gosh, I was getting hammered with bots, and I ended up just taking the video down. It's like, I can't deal with this all day. It was ridiculous.
I can't tell you how many times I supposedly won a prize on watching somebody's channel.
And you clicked on every one. You're just riddled with viruses.
Get a
now.
notice. Oh, you won the giveaway. You won the prize. I'm like, yeah, I got the prize. All right.
There you go. I'll trigger it again. Thanks to the Bun coffee maker. I have a full pot of coffee in 4 minutes.
Good thing you didn't say you were having donut holes.
Yeah.
Nothing's off limits for these bots, man.
Hey, everybody, the phone's open. The call line, 475-256-2694. If you want to call in and ask John Ishii, Jeff Neville, or Mr. Z Wade Photo a question. If you ask me, I'm just going to ask them to answer it.
Too busy eating them duo sandwich cookies over there.
Mm-hmm. Look at the experience in the chat, though. I mean, you got a question about the first camera ever made or the last one Nikon produced. We got it covered.
Hey, you ever own a Nikon Coolpix 990?
No.
Oh, fantastic.
But that was I know that there are a lot of people that talked about that camera.
Oh, I got a lot of front covers from that camera.
People say that those are like a lot of fun to shoot. Like all of the cool pics are a lot of fun to shoot.
Well, because you can twist it. You can twist the body. And you can get really cool angles.
At 5 today that NASA had made for the shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that Nikon did anything for NASA. I thought it's always been Hazy.
No, Nikon's been on a lot of space missions.
Yeah.
I used to do work for NASA. I worked for the company that made spacesuits.
What did they carry on the moon? What did they shoot with on the moon?
Hasselblad.
Hazy. Yeah, it was a Hazy. What was it? A 5 something?
Is it 501 or 500? It depends on the year. Yeah. Special edition. And then they use Nikon F.
Yeah.
Something.
I'll tell you, it's sad when you think about, when you look at camera history and how many cameras Kodak made over the years. And I mean, I guess they just couldn't come to grips with the fact that film was going to basically go away for the most part, and they just hung on too long and it's too slow to go to digital,
You know what I love about Kodak?
Well, they were the first ones with digital, but they didn't. It's like it was kind of like digital was would be usurping their film business, and they thought the film would survive. And
what I love about Kodak's history is their business model was so uniquely American and how restrictive it was to their own products that I just absolutely love it. It's like, yeah, look at this camera that shoots our film that gets developed at our store. And then they came out with those stupid little disc things that look like the little toy thing. It's like they
look like the viewfinder. The viewfinder, you'd buy the disc at the when you went on vacation, you could buy the viewfinder with all the images and
they were so they really just like hammered so hard on like the proprietary model and everything. And I just love that. It's so it's so uniquely them, while everybody else like Vivitar was like not even really a manufacturer of anything. It was kind of like a name and somebody else made the stuff and they stuck their name on it. Like you see that a lot in the camera industry throughout history,
Again, anybody that wants to call in, I'll leave the number up for just a few more minutes and then I'm going to go back to the comments. So I don't always, I don't always address the comment, but I'll put them up here. You guys just kind of watch the bottom of the screen, especially you guys, the guest hosts here. If you want to comment on any of the comments that come up, by all means do, gentlemen. All right. A lot of Grays of Westminster people in the chat right now.
What's up, Grays folks?
Yeah.
Gray is his name, but it also describes the hair color of so many of us that are.
Nobody knows my hair color.
Well, true enough, Jeff. True enough.
Beige.
Yeah. I just tell everybody I'm Howie Mandel's brother.
Put the balloon over your head, see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Mike talking about Kodak had it going and just couldn't get a grip with digital. Well, I mean, they were the groundbreaking part of digital. I don't understand what happened. Anybody knows that story? Feel free to share it.
Yeah.
If I were to speculate, it was they probably did the same thing that like Nikon did with mirrorless. It's like they just didn't get on the train. So, well, neither did Canon really. It's like they let other brands kind of take over the future, you know. And they were right. Like, I mean, they were so heavily invested in film and you know, that was like their thing. And if they would have come out with something digital, you know, they could have possibly killed off everything that they were invested in, you know. So
yeah, the only thing they'd have is paper for making prints. At that point, you know.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
well,
is Kodak even Kodak anymore, or has someone else bought them just for like the film? Because you still get Kodak film.
Well, and you could still and Kodak makes paper.
Oh, do they still make paper? I don't.
There's still paper. Yeah.
I buy Red River myself, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know if Kodak is still in the same. You know, who knows? Maybe somebody bought the rights to the name, and it isn't really who we think Kodak was. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know. But
so based on this comment by Hassan, Kodak believed that digital would not go anywhere. They shelved the project because they did not want to eventually dilute their film line.
yeah.
That guy, the guy that was their marketing manager and whatever, must have been hired by Nikon. I can pick on Nikon because I'm a Nikon shooter.
No, Chuck. You know what they did with him? He's got a little Kodak Express kiosk in Greenland.
Again, how many people? Well, in this chat, quite a few, but I don't wonder how many people remember the little kiosks in every shopping mall's parking lot.
Oh my God. Felt sorry for those poor people and those things.
Yeah. Oh man. So Greg posed the question, asked what everybody's shooting, and I guess people are jumping in here with what they've been shooting lately. Well, you guys, you probably know I finally got the studio up and running again and played with that. I'm going to play with that some more. But other than that, I haven't been out in the back shooting anything. My ducks are long gone. Had no geese this year to speak of. The hawks haven't been as prevalent as usual. My great blue heron, I hear him back there, but now it's so grown up, I can't see him anywhere. So as far as birds or anything, at least around the house, I haven't been shooting anything outside, that is.
No, I had things going on this week. Plus, it rained here pretty much every day this week so far. So last weekend I did some street photography, which I'll be sharing in my next video I kick out, along with some other stuff. And hopefully the weather is supposed to improve, I think, starting tomorrow. So next week I'll be back in action again.
Wow, Miss Diana, how you doing?
Oh, you can see me.
Yeah. Oh, look at your poor eye.
no.
I feel sorry.
Oh, it's terrible.
So sad you lost your camera too.
Yeah, now it's in ICU with Hasselblad.
Dinah, I have to say, I looked at your Instagram about 30 minutes ago, and it is astonishing. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, my heart for your black and whites. They are just absolutely stunning.
Oh, you're so kind. You're so kind.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Zach
Thank
shoots a
you.
lot of black and white.
I do, yeah, black and white. I just actually started about like not too long ago. I usually like colors.
Hmm.
But I now I kind of venture into black and white because I think it is actually have a different feeling.
Right.
For
The most recent one that I saw, John mentioned where it was. It's in color of an elderly woman. That beautiful color in that one. Beautiful color.
The Bali one.
Oh,
the
the
old lady.
dancer with the grandmother and the
Yes.
granddaughter.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Beautiful
use
picture.
that. Yeah, we use a natural light. I wish I had brought my lights, my artificial lights, with me, so that part of the face is not so dark when
Mhm.
it's outside the window area. But we were traveling, so we didn't bring our artificial lights.
So,
Yeah, I don't blame you.
John, you gotta explain. I'm sorry I didn't let you do that. Talking about, tell us about your trip, you guys, while Diana's here, so you can't lie about, the fish that got away or whatever.
Well, it was an intense trip, because we hired a fixer who takes us to what we want to shoot and arranges it for the whole day, and then do lots of setup shots.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of festivals going on, and one in particular was in this old village
And where was this?
in Bali,
Okay.
Indonesia. And in this village, the young men, they take these I don't know, these leaves that got spikes on them, and they wrap them up and turn them into swords, and they get on a stage and start whacking each other with it. It's like like razor grass, and they start having a good time whacking each other, and everyone's going nuts. So we're trying to take pictures with this, and it's really tough. So had to use a 14-24 S lens on it, and even then, and so anyway, if you ever want to go there, I mean, there's definitely some photo ops there.
Did you walk away with any that you're, really happy with, or was there something there that?
Yeah. The cockfighting, it was just a demo. It was it was not a really fight. It was mostly for tourists,
Yeah.
And I posted one picture of this cockfighting, just one frame. I think I just sent it to you on an email.
Okay.
And and then look, it's a Z9. I took it with a 7200. I gave the technical specs, and of course somebody said, "Oh, how dare you take pictures of this kind of cruelty?" And here we go with the peanut gallery. You know what I'm saying?
So there was somebody in the chat here that asked, "Isn't that illegal?" I don't think he knew it at that point where you took the photo.
I mean, we're not doing it in Toledo, Ohio, right?
Well, people don't understand that one of the most beautiful things in life itself, if you have the opportunity, is to experience different cultures.
Exactly.
And
exactly,
especially when it's such a harsh contrast as that, and you get that shock factor. Like, I can't believe that I see something like this.
People don't get it that everybody isn't like you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Look, we're not from Lacey, Washington, and stuff, so you're not going to see it, man. But the thing is, with these cocks or chickens, that they're prized possession of these people, so they're not going to let it get it. For a few bucks, start hacking away at each other. These are prized possessions, and they take good care of them. So, but you know what? You're going to get it from the peanut gallery anyway, so no matter what. So there's no point engaging with them.
Right.
Because where do you start,
John, I'm looking for the photo. Either you didn't attach it. If you sent it on the one where the links went out, it's not here, but I don't have
okay. All right. I'll send you some later.
Okay.
On that like culture subject, I mean, even right here in the United States, somebody had mentioned to me that they didn't necessarily think it was a pleasant idea to capture like the level of poverty that I want to go for. But like on my bucket list, I can't do any of my travels until after my dog passes. She's getting old and I want to spend as much time with her as I can while I still got her. But the first trip I'm taking is to the Mississippi Delta, because people don't realize that like third world poverty exists in the state that I grew up in, you know, and they didn't think it was pleasant to like put their poverty out there like that. I'm like, no, that's the kind of stuff that I want to get out there, you know. Like people live in shacks in this country, you know.
Well, yeah, and not only that, Zach, I'm originally from Seattle, and I look at the pictures of Seattle now, and I cannot believe the amount of poverty and the homeless in these tents, you know. It just blows me away. And then when my friends see it, who are not from the United States, they just scratching their head like, wait a second, how's this work? You know, I thought everybody is Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So the separation is just immense.
Yep. Yeah. People don't realize. Actually, you know, Trevor Noah, who I'm not like a huge fan of Trevor Noah, like the comedian, the guy that does like the Daily Show or whatever. He actually had a really good segment where he showed two pictures and like you were supposed to guess where it's from. One of them was from Africa, like South Africa, and the other one was from the United States. And one of them was Johannesburg, and it looked like pretty nice. And everyone's like, "Oh, is that New York?" And then there was one that was like just absolute. I'm talking like rubble or rubbish, and it just garbage. And it's like, no, that's actually it was like Seattle or Detroit or a section of New York. And I was just like, you know.
Exactly.
So I want to capture that kind of stuff. But before I go out of country with some of my travels, I want to get some of this shocking stuff that's right here at home that I can do in a weekend, you know.
Well, if you go to the Mississippi Delta, you know, you and immerse yourself in Delta life, right? You can get some incredible images.
Yeah.
So Patrick Smith's in the house. He comes from your background, or he's John. He's a shoot.
What is he?
Photojournalist?
Yeah, he's a photojournalist, and
okay.
I think he's mainly here in the U.S. But yeah,
who's he shoot for?
Patrick I don't know.
Apologize for the mistake.
Oh, it was a comment about poor or impoverished or something, and he was just correcting himself, his wording or whatever. But you can find that all over the U.S. Not as blatant. It's not as blatant because when you go into a major city like Seattle or you know, in California, and it's blatant in your face, especially in a city you would never expect it, that gets all the attention. But there's that's going on all over the U.S. Somebody brought up West Virginia, but I'll just bring up, and he did mention the Appalachian Mountains. Yeah, in Appalachia, that's been the case for a long time. However, yes, poverty is a thing, but a lot of people in the Appalachia Mountains and basin area, they're happier than most of us because they've just accepted that way of life. It's a slower way of life and everything else. And I'm not saying that to take away from their, you know, the condition of the economy wherever they are, but it's amazing. And yes, I've traveled all over the world other than Asia, so I shouldn't say all over the world. And I get that everywhere. I would get it everywhere I went. People thought that if you went to America, everybody in America is rich. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with a kid in Afghanistan. He wanted to come to America, and I tried to explain to him how difficult it would be in America. You know, all the expenses that he would have, and he just couldn't believe. You got to pay for electricity? Oh yeah. Yep, you do.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's something I need to do. Once I get back down to Tennessee, I think I may take a trip because I have relatives by marriage in down in eastern Kentucky, coal mine area, and it's nothing like it was. Although there's still a lot of that down there, and but they're not very friendly to people walking around with cameras taking pictures. They're not very friendly to anybody that isn't from down there, but maybe some of that's changed a little bit too. But you talking about some photo ops, man.
Yeah.
That's one thing you can look forward to, and not just the Mississippi Delta, but Mississippi in general, is everybody just seems to be super nice down south. So that's where I grew up, and everybody's poor, nobody has anything, and so everybody helps everybody and likes everybody.
No, you're right, Z-Wade. I mean, I spent time in the South, in Kentucky and Tennessee, and they're the nicest people I ever
They
met.
really are.
Oh, really? I mean, they actually give way. You're in a parking lot or something. The traffic, they give way and they let you through. I mean, you try doing that in Portland or Seattle, forget about it.
Well,
You're
I
getting
love
old.
going home. The waitress
I
walks
would-
up and says, "Honey, you need some more sweet tea?" Or see, that's not correct. They just ask, "Do you want some more tea?" Because every tea is sweet down south. There is no
Very,
you have
very
to ask
sweet.
for unsweetened tea.
And I only drink the unsweetened because I'm pre-diabetic. If I
Yeah.
had the sweet tea down here, I'd be in the hospital in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I remember how shocked I was whenever we first moved to Kansas, because it seems like everybody in Kansas is like blatantly disrespectful, but they're just so like neutral, and everybody down south is like really respectful. And so whenever I came here, I was like, these are like the most rude people I've ever seen in my life, but it's just, they're really not. They're just like neutral. There's no like yes ma'am and no ma'am, which was required in my house, And,
Joe, I haven't seen those, but I'm definitely going to check it out now. You have me intrigued because I know what's down there, and seeing that, I'm guessing in black and white too, on a 4x5. There has to be some unbelievable photos.
Oh, wow. 4x5. What
Yeah.
state
I
are
thought
you
it's
in?
like
What
$30
state are you in,
a
Wade?
frame these days.
Yeah, I don't know when he did it. He said that Shelby did this. I don't know. Maybe you can pass that on to us, Joe, when he actually did it. Yeah, and I understand that because as a kid we would go down there with my stepfather, and I wasn't from there, obviously, and so he had to make sure everybody understood that I was kin. Otherwise, I actually had cousins that they ganged up on one of their brothers and hung him from the porch. And my grandmother, by marriage, found him hanging from the rafter on a porch and had to cut him down with a butcher knife. I mean, yeah, they're just good, fun loving people.
That had to be a weird dinner.
Yeah. It's a strange, that's a different environment than the South, though. That's its own animal, by the way.
Well, that's
they are-
Vic Roman. Same thing with Florida. Like I've never really considered Florida really like South culturally. It's kind of its own little. It is geographically South, but it's kind of its own vibe.
They are very clannish down there. I mean, you're talking about Scots Irish, influence throughout the Appalachians. So they are still very clannish, and I hope everybody knows what I'm talking about. They're not KKK, but you have to explain yourself every time you say something nowadays. But the Campbell clan, which I was by marriage a part of when I went down there, they're very tight. I mean, and even between the clans, they're friendly, but I mean, clan before anybody else. So at least that's the way it was.
Hey, Z-Wade, I want to mention this to you. There's a photographer you might be very interested in. He's got a YouTube channel. It's called Soft White Underbelly. Okay. And what he does is he interviews and takes black and white pictures of these people living in the real poverty-stricken area of the southeast. Like
Mhm.
one of them, he interviewed an inbred family called the Whitakers.
I think I've seen that before, and
Have you
it's
seen it?
it's shocking.
It's shocking.
I've seen that video. It is shocking. The only video probably ever that I actually caught myself with my jaw open.
Yeah. And then he's got a Ku Klux Klan member interview, ex-transgender woman. It's just, this guy is incredible.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I didn't know he.
Yeah, check it out.
I didn't know he was a photographer.
Yeah, he's a
I remember
photographer
seeing that
and
video.
filmmaker. Yeah, take a look. See his pictures. His portraits are beautiful. By the way. Yeah.
I'll have to find. I was just looking to see if I could find the Shelby documentary. Of course, all I got was Carol Shelby, because that's the only Shelby that YouTube cares about, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, again, here we go. This is the big photography talk. This is what we do. We talk about all things photography. If you're new to the channel, I'd ask that you drop a like. And if you like what you hear and you want to participate, you're welcome to jump in. I don't care what you shoot. We've got Long Rider in here, and he shoots Sony, and we don't beat on him all day long.
I mean, not on the stream. I mean, behind his back. I mean,
But no,
we just mail letter bombs to his house. That's
yeah.
all.
we don't pick on Canon, Sony. If anything, I pick on Nikon more than I do anything else, and
That's true.
I have to say this, because Chuck, I know you're not good about asking people to subscribe and do all that stuff. If you want to see us bash on Sony and Canon, you have to sign up for our Patreon. And
yeah, but yeah, think about maybe joining us and subscribing and being in here with us. We do this on Saturday nights and on Wednesday afternoon. Both streams are Eastern time, 12 noon Eastern on Wednesday. And a lot of people make that stream too. I think it's more popular, especially in Europe, that time frame. Mm-hmm. And we've got Roy Bigsby down under that. I don't care. I could do a live stream anytime, and I think Roy will join. Roy's just a great guy and enjoys photography and loves to be in here. But if you haven't subscribed, I'd like you to maybe give us a try. And I hope you'll come back and check us out again if we can't convince you this time.
Thanks, Triangle Space.
This video brought to you by My Subscription Want.
What's my other one? It's instead of honey book, my thing for a while was agave nectar book. That was
You're a Long Rider. Be nice or you won't get any Sony sensors.
I take back everything I said. They're actually great sensors.
All right.
Chuck would have to say this channel is sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts.
No. I don't like Dunkin' Donuts coffee, but thanks. You're at least on coffee. I do like some of their donuts, though.
I have been forcing myself to get through this horrible coffee. It's called like Guatemalan Antiquan or something like that. It is disgusting, but I bought it, so I've got to drink it.
The only disgusting coffee is when they add stuff like nutmeg or whatever in that flavored foo-foo coffee.
Oh,
pumpkin spice white girl coffee.
Oh yeah, my God.
Hey, pretty soon we're going to be in pumpkin spice season, where everything from the air you breathe to your coffee will be pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
I have to buy pumpkin spice even now through Amazon, so my wife has some all the time. Not just during the fall.
Jeff and I are in the same boat.
All the time.
We can't be drinking that sweet stuff, right, Jeff?
No.
There you go. I'm with you, Moz, man. Actually, I buy the coffee beans. There's a local store here that does a very good job roasting. And so I just buy the beans and grind for every pot of coffee I make. It's a little more expensive,
I did too.
But
I started grinding my own beans. My only warning to everybody is, if you want to try it, you'll be hooked. Pumpkin spice. I feel like that might be a little hot.
Oh,
Better
man.
than the hot chili pepper toilet paper.
Grands bean just before it brews the coffee. Yeah, I thought about getting something like that too, Long Rider, but yeah, we're getting away here from, I guess, photography before everybody says, oh, I didn't sign up for this.
Bring it back around.
But this is this community. Everything's fair game here. So again,
we don't drive the topics. It's your guys' fault. So you signed
Yes.
up for it.
Here, I'll throw something out for you guys to answer. What would you want to be a for a wide angle? What would you like to see for a wide angle prime?
APS-C or full frame?
Full frame.
I'm good.
12 mm, 12 millimeter, 2.8.
A Z fisheye someday. At some
as
point,
much
not soon.
For as much as I use that, the 14 to 30, which I have on the Z6 right now, is fine for me.
Yeah, honestly, the 14 to 24 f2.8s and the 14 to 30 are so unrealistically good that I don't know that I need a prime any, besides that. I think the 20 millimeter prime is okay, but a lot of like people that are wide angle shooters are going to hate me for that.
Yeah. I'm a
I just
I'm
just wondering if, I'm sure there's people that do astrophotography that would like some 1.2 lenses or 1.4 lenses in, 20 millimeter, 24 millimeter.
Yes. And they're definitely, those people are the ones that are definitely looking in the corners of the image.
Yeah. They want to make sure that the stars don't look like eggs.
Yep. Yep.
2.8 is enough.
What was the here's a fun one for everybody. What was the last thing that everybody shot, Chuck? Since you're a numero uno here
on the screen.
Oh yeah. Okay. What about you, John? What was the last session you had?
Me, the last session?
Yeah.
I was shooting these Balinese dances on the beach.
How about you, Mr. Jeffrey?
Shot some street photography in basically downtown Myrtle Beach.
Nice.
Near the beach.
The last thing I shot this morning, we had some rain, and so I went and did some black and whites of the water droplets just on all kinds of different stuff. Hanging off of stuff, dripping off of stuff. Everybody else in the chat, let us know what the last thing you shot was, the last session.
So Mike Farwell's getting ready to go out now and shoot the Milky Way.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I have to drive about an hour and maybe 50 minutes to an hour away to get to get away from the light pollution. And there's just like it's actually out by like the wind farms, which isn't particularly great, but
yeah. Patrick talking about the late, as far as gear goes, he's more than happy and satisfied with his current kit. I see why. D6, D5, D850, 24 to 7. Yeah, the Trinity almost.
Trinity of cameras and lenses.
Yeah, absolutely. I see why, Patrick.
I'll bet you $100 that DSLRs will come back.
Well, I don't know if I want to bet you $100, but you mean like in the nostalgia type thing, just like film kind
exactly.
of yeah.
And you know why?
Go ahead.
Know why I'm saying that? Because I'm starting to see videos and talk about people buying old D200s for like $100.
Mm-hmm.
And why is because they're using CCD sensors.
Yeah. I saw something about that too.
You saw that, right?
Yep.
And I'll tell you, people are going to snap them up.
Yeah. And maybe the reason why is because they're as cheap as they are now too. And a lot of people that are doing that, most of the people, I won't say all, some may be trying it that are newer to cameras or whatever. But a lot of people are buying that. It's just like me. I went and bought a 70 RTSE Dodge Challenger because it takes me back to 16 years old. And I think camera people are the same way too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
Well, you know, my best performing video of all time is titled "Why I Chose the Nikon D610 Twice." That's my best performing video of all time.
yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Still to this day, like I have videos I just came out with like the Z9 that have gotten like 500-600 views, and I still get like that D610 video was like two years old. It was one of my first videos, and it still gets like a couple hundred a month.
So this is interesting. Jonathan De La Rosa says that just got back from family session. Z72 overheated after about 30 minutes of use. It was 100 degrees outside, but I was surprised. I kind of am too, Jonathan. Can you expound on that? Was that in video, or are you talking in stills even? It's interesting.
100 degrees.
Yeah. I haven't had that problem. I was out shooting in 98, a week ago or a week and a half ago or something like that.
I got an alert once with the Z7 II doing video. It alerted me that the card had overheated or something.
Hot card.
But never in taking pictures. But I mean, if you're shooting like 4K or something.
In stills, man, that's hard to believe.
Yeah,
wow.
Really.
Huh.
That's kind of insane. I've never heard anyone complain about that.
He just said the CF Express card got hot. Yeah, the CF Express cards will get hot, especially when you're downloading.
Yeah.
They definitely get hot. But did you get a overheat warning on the camera? Oh, so you just swapped cards and it was okay. All right. So the card, did it say card overheating? I don't know. I've never had any warning like that on any of the Z cameras.
Yeah, it'll tell you like warning, like hot card or something. I don't remember what the phrasing is, but I only saw it once, and like I said, it was whenever I was shooting video.
Yeah. Huh.
Like the highest resolution I could.
Yeah, because video, I guess I could see that, but you only got 30 minutes, but 30 minutes of, 4K. With the Z7 II, you can do what, up 4K up to 60 frames? 4K 60?
Yes.
Yeah, he said it did say card overheating. Okay. So yeah, Mozman asked what card you were using, because there are some cards to stay away from out there. They may be fast, but they definitely generate a whole lot more heat.
SanDisk 128 Extreme Pro. I have one of those, and that may be the one that overheated. After that, I switched to like a Sony Tough, and I never saw it happen after that. It's never happened on the Z6 II. I don't know if the fact that it's writing up double the file size or something, but
SanDisk. Okay, so I haven't used.
Take care, Mike. Have a good night.
Mike. Enjoy yourself, man. Show us a photo or two later. So he's using SanDisk 128 gig Extreme Pro CF Express Type B. Yeah, I'm not using any SanDisk CF Express cards. When early on, when I think Matt Granger did his video and Ricky did his video, the pro grade cards seem to be doing extremely well. A lot of people talked favorably about Angel Bird, but there were some issues with Angel Bird in the beginning too, as far as speed, continuous speed or constant speed. But anyway,
go ahead,
I haven't had any trouble with the pro grade black, or not pro grade, Delkin Black. Yeah, Delkin Black. Yeah,
these here, it was about 101 or so degrees outside. I shot 806 images at about 5 or 6 minutes at full raw on the Z9, and these things had no temperature to them at all. And so,
how much are they?
I think I got like a 2-pack of these for like a couple $100 or something. I don't know. I could look it up, but it's one of the ones that's recommended for the Z9. It's like on the Z9 recommended list. It's kind of like mid-price, but the read-write speed is where you want it to be.
Yeah. None of the cards stay cool to touch. All of them get hot. I guess it just depends on how hot they get. And you can definitely tell that when you're downloading. Man, that even the reader gets hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct.
Well, the price has gone up on them, but it's $300 for a 2-pack.
Well, that's not bad for two of them.
No, they're good too. I mean, they've got, let's see, 1730 and 1540.
All right, that's good.
And I don't really shoot that much, so like 128 is really all I'm willing to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jonathan, there's definitely a difference in all the cards out there. Yeah, I think we're going to continue to see them get closer and closer together. And everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people actually market their cards as cooler, runs cooler. I don't know if all of them are true or not, but yeah.
Hey, Jonathan, it's a Delkin Power 128 gig.
That's the latest, isn't it? Because I have the Delkin Black, and
I think the Delkin Black is a little higher, actually, on the recommended list.
Okay, because it has a sustained write speed of like, I don't know, over 1,500 sustained, and that's the key for if you're shooting that's the key if you're shooting the Z9 full bore,
right?
Or 8K. Even though
go ahead.
Yeah,
I mean, I was gonna say I get about 6 seconds of the raw, which I just call it raw. I don't buy into this whole like, oh well, it's compressed, whatever. It's fine. Basically, just shy of 60,000 megabytes per file for about 6 seconds, which gives you a crap load of photos. And I don't know what you're doing past that. So,
Yeah, he just corrected that, Moz man. It wasn't the Delkin Black.
I don't think I said it was the Delkin Black.
No, you didn't. You didn't. Oh. I said it when you showed it to me. I didn't look at the label close enough.
Yeah, Moz man.
I've got the Pro Grade Cobalt series, which is what was the original card that was on the Nikon recommended list for the Z9. So I went.
By the way, Nikon's brand CF Express card is outrageously overpriced.
Oh, it's stupidly priced. There's no way.
That is
no way I would buy that.
I am offended at the price of that
like
card.
$700.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh my God.
Who makes it?
Nikon. Well, it's Nikon's
well, it's got their label on it, but I don't know who makes it.
So how do you get how do you get a maker to make your card for you and be able to market it with your name on it at a cheaper price?
You don't tell them how much you're pricing it for. That way they get ticked off later. Yeah, 1,700 megabytes or 1,700 read, 1,500 write, 660 gigs for $726.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jonathan. Yeah, with the Z7 absolutely. The file sizes are huge. Definite difference between that and the Z6 when you're shooting it. And if you were shooting constant for a while in 100 degrees, I could see some of these cards getting very, very hot.
Yeah, those Z7 II files are huge. I think I averaged like 85. Yeah. Huge.
85?
Yeah. The Z9's about 56 or so. Put an affiliate link in your next video to Adorama, and I will buy it using the link. I don't have an Adorama affiliate link. I also don't really shop at Adorama that much. I would if they'd give me an affiliate link. I'll play the game.
Yeah, there you go. Sustained speed of 800, he thinks, on the Delkin Power. Yeah, the black is the one that has the fastest sustained write speed in the Delkin lineup. But I thought they just...
Chuck, the bots are back. I don't know what we said this time.
Who knows? All right.
Just bring up that National Geographic show, Naked and Afraid, and let's see what happens.
Well, I don't get it because like if people were typing people were typing stuff in the chat and it was fine, but it like stuff is popping up. But we talked about cockfighting for like 10 minutes and none of this popped up. So I don't think there's a rhyme or reason. I think it's just random.
All right.
What a headache.
Yeah, it's a constant battle.
This is a wholesome Christian show, okay?
That's right. You tell them.
Yeah, we don't need all this foolishness.
Yeah, you tell them.
Now we're gonna get other bots. It's like sign up for this collection of Bibles. You can't escape. You can't win.
Seeing something on the chat here that's making me want to ask a question. Do you think they'll ever make tilt shift lenses for the Z line, or do you think that it's such a niche product that they'll just say no, just use the F mount version?
I mean, maybe.
No, I think they will. They will.
Yeah, at some point. Hopefully, it's a little down the road.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anybody asking for one. So,
well, architects need it. I mean, architectural photography, commercial guys need it.
yeah.
Jonathan, you're
You can't
welcome
do it in
anytime, man.
Photoshop. Anytime.
Somebody, if it isn't somebody here as a guest host or myself or whatever, there are so many people in the chat that can answer so many questions. So, yeah, if nothing else, somebody had told me they went back and looked at the chat and they talked. Oh, it was Ronald talking about how much information comes out in the chat. There's so much good information that comes out in the chat that, everybody should take a look. I think you guys follow it closer than we do. I'm trying, but I get so far behind. I've got Jeffrey kicking me in the butt. Hey, we're about 29 comments behind. So sometimes I jump ahead, but
I learned a lot. I learned a lot from that Steve, what's his name? Steve Perry.
Steve Perry. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He
Right,
is
Chuck?
he is a real unique person. He really is.
Hell of a nice guy,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He is. A lot of people trust everything he says, because he's a straight shooter, and if he gives,
Exactly.
man,
we need plenty of that straight shooter kind of stuff like on YouTube because everything is so like marginalized and cult like, and we need some of that. Just like this is the way it is, and I don't really give a damn whether you like it or not.
Z Wade, I'm telling you, I've been a professional photographer for 20 some years, and some of the bullshit that these people put up on the YouTube is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, the kind of the shrill and the junk they spew out, it's just mind-boggling, and people get sucked into it and spend money and chase it. Just
that's why it sells. That's why it sells on YouTube. It's American consumerism. YouTube is thick with it.
I mean, this A versus B versus this and that. My God, nobody can tell the difference.
A good photographer can take a crappy camera and take a good picture. With modern cameras, if you can't figure out how to get a good image, you are the problem. Everything else is so minor. It's such a minor difference from A to B.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. You take a $50,000 camera, you're just going to take lousy $50,000 pictures.
Yeah.
So that was Amar 247 Media Group. He did a video. He dropped it today, and he was telling everybody, quit worrying about the gear, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? They don't owe you anything. Shoot with what you got. And if you can't shoot, okay, I understand that. But I think so many people, what they don't understand, maybe, I don't know, is marketing rules the roost when it comes to all these new cameras. And you know what? And also buying. But I go back to something I've said so many times before. Why do we berate people that say they want something? They're going to go get it or whatever. Why do we do that? Or if they're waiting on something like the 2 to 600, yeah, guess what? People are shooting with what they have. Don't think they just quit and said, no, I'm not going to shoot until I get the 2 to 600. You don't have to tell them go out and shoot. They're doing that. But why is it such an issue to complain about not getting it as fast as you want?
Well, for here's an example, Chuck. That interview you and Vog had with what's his name, Bio Joe or Joe
Yeah,
Bio,
Josh. Yeah.
Here, Josh.
Josh, whatever.
Joe
And
Bayou.
Joe Bayou.
and
Is that Blue Bayou's
his
brother?
rationale for not wanting a Z9 because he couldn't wait.
Yeah.
Now now come on, Chuck. I don't buy that. Give me
No,
a break.
he had the Z9. But he'd already been, and I'm not defending him, but if you know the whole story, he was promised the 600 F4, the next one that came in, blah, blah, blah. For some reason, they sold it to somebody else. He contacted Nikon USA because they're the ones that had told him it was going to be there and he could get it. And he tried to get a hold of Nikon USA. They wouldn't return his calls. They didn't answer his emails or anything else. And he said, the heck with it. I'm going to go Sony. Now, is there an issue with that?
Was that's a personal issue that he had with Nikon.
Yeah, but I mean, is there an issue if you said tonight, hey, I'm never going to shoot Nikon again because I'm shooting Olympus or OM? Should we all say, well, John Ishiy's a prick, we don't need John Ishii anymore because he jumped ship. First of all, I don't think Josh was complaining that much about the camera, but of course, when he got the Sony, he's going to talk about the Sony just like everybody else. But my point here is why do we do that to people? Why do we blow people up over what they want? And if they want it now, why is that an issue? I hate photographers that jump on and start telling me what I need, want, or when I should want it or need it or whatever. I mean, come on.
YouTube is the wrong.
Well, I mean, that's
place.
fine, but it just didn't come across like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
I agree with you on those points, but it just didn't come across like that because I saw both this, not that I shoot wildlife or anything.
Yeah. Well,
they're back, Chuck.
I know I just got rid of them again. I can't get rid of them I get rid of them in the chat for me, but it's one of those things that seems like everybody has to do it. T-Mid's back in here. Yeah, we're still at it, T-Mid. But yeah, John, I just, you know what? If somebody wants to, as long as they don't go off and badmouth Nikon over and over and over, they're going to switch brands, then by all means, switch brands. I'd rather you stay with Nikon. Why? That's selfish of me, but and I'll tell you it is because I want Nikon to do well. All right. And everybody they lose doesn't help Nikon do well.
I've gotten to the point where, like in person, when somebody asks, well, what kind of camera would you recommend? Only in person do I tell them Nikon, and the reason is I don't say because I think their lenses are better or anything like that. I say if you get a Nikon, I can help you out for free. I can help guide you through the menus. I don't know anything about Canon menus, so that's like the selling point for me. It's like I can help you out in person if we have a similar system.
No, because I'm like, got a point. Yeah,
I'm burnt out. I'm just burnt out on the he said, she said, and this, that, and the other. It's like, ugh.
No, you got a valid point because a lot of people says, hey, John, I got this digital camera XYZ. How do you use it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have a Pentax, and I never have.
Well, a lot of people that ask that never make any attempt to read the manual either,
That's a good point. Or they don't listen to you when you give them advice anyway.
That's another thing. Tell them to go right, they go left.
Yeah. There's my biggest pet peeve is trying to help some, because like I have the heart of a teacher. I wish I could do more educational stuff on my channel, but everybody knows how to shoot photography that subscribes to my channel. But I have the heart of a teacher. I want to take somebody like under my wing and like teach them and stuff like that. But my past attempts to do that, it's like I teach them all these things and I explain what everything is. Slowly they get it, and then they don't want to listen to me anyway. And then when we're out shooting, they're like, "Hey, what's your ISO at?" Like, what do you mean? It's the lowest I can get away with. Like, what do you mean? What is my ISO at?
Here you go. I made the comment a while back about, is Nikon going to produce a 100 megapixel camera? Canon's toying with it, and so is Sony. And I love people will say, you don't need a 100 megapixel camera. Whoa, back up, Jack. It's not about need. Okay. First of all, if you want it, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't need a Jaguar, but I'd like to have one, you know? So
Well,
again, we just have these people that seem to be the experts, and they get to be the camera police out there and tell people, no, you don't need that. No, you couldn't handle that, or your file sizes are going to be so big. Well, no kidding, it's 100 megapixel. I don't know that, but
Chuck,
yeah,
the need for speed. Okay,
yeah,
I get it.
yeah,
Okay, this is what bothers me about the peanut gallery, right? They're
yeah,
all experts, but the
yeah,
people who need 100 megapixel is commercial guys who shoot for Procter and Gamble, and I mentioned this on Vaughan's things.
Yeah.
yeah,
And what does Procter and Gamble make? They make hair products, correct?
yeah,
Head and Shoulders. So in their ad campaign, what do they? The creative director wants to see what? Every single goddamn strand of hair, and they want
yeah,
to see the DNA in that hair.
Oh,
yeah,
What do they need? Their 24 megapixel
Jeffrey.
ain't gonna cut the mustard. I'm sorry. They want to see a digital bag, or they want to see 100 megapixel or 150 megapixel phase one.
yeah,
And the creative director will go to your studio and look for it. If you don't have that camera, you don't got the job.
yeah,
Now that's who needs it.
yeah.
These guys
Uh,
making comments from the peanut gallery, you don't need this or you
but
don't need that.
but you know what? They
They
don't
don't know
even
what that,
ask that.
because they don't know, Chuck. They don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
They don't know. When you're doing a $500,000 ad campaign, hey, you better have the right stuff.
But you know what's sad, John? It comes from older, experienced shooters. That's what's sad because they never
Older,
shot with it. They
older and
never
what,
shot with it.
commercial or hobbyists, you know?
Well, everybody's a professional. I mean, but no, we found that out when the Z9 came out, and everybody was a professional because everybody got immediate NPS, whatever.
Yeah.
So everybody's professional. Define professional for me. Do you earn your living from it? That's a profession. A welder, a mechanic,
Yeah, exactly.
photographer.
Yeah.
Huh?
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm a pro. I slept at a Holiday Inn last night.
That's right.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. But Nikon rumors, I'll tell you, I used to go there quite a bit, but I don't go over there. I just go over there to check to see what the latest thing is on the street. Peter's pretty good about that. But getting in that forum over there, I'll forget about it.
That is a dark.
They're sad
Butt
people.
crack.
They are sad,
I-
angry
I-
people.
Butt
I never
crack of
been
the
there.
internet.
Really?
Nikon,
It's dark web.
Nikon Rumors forum is like the butt crack of the industry.
Oh, really? That
No, DP review can be pretty tough crowd there too.
Yeah.
Very critical. I feel bad for a newbie going on some of those established forums because they'll just
Joe.
beat the what out of them, beat them up.
That is such a good point, Joe.
But again, the thing about it is Joe, I got to defend the idiots that want to scream that. If that's what they want and they're willing to pay for it, I don't see an issue. I don't know why everybody has to prove to them they don't need something. Why do we do that?
I feel like resolution is outrunning like cooling technology because my DJI Action 2 will run 4K for like a minute and a half before it shuts itself down overheated. Nor do I have a screen that can appreciate it. I mean, you get 8K, that way you can punch in.
I love this.
But
this is me right here. This is me because I don't shoot for money. So I only make money as a photographer when I sell my gear.
you lose money doing that.
Exactly.
I'm actually weird in this. Like, I actually disqualified myself from NPS. Like, I had trouble with NPS earlier this year, but I disqualified myself because this year I gave up charging. This year I'm only shooting what like I want to shoot. I've never been happier.
That's the great thing about being a hobbyist.
I basically I went from probably 30 30%, like, because I have a real job, and I was probably making 30% with photography as I was like with my actual job. I gave all that up. I don't want to do it this year. I don't want to do another senior photo shoot. Maybe I never want to do another wedding, and that's where the money is. I just want to shoot what I want to shoot, you know?
Wedding.
Yeah, I never want to do a wedding.
I don't know
again.
how Vaughan does it.
Well, I'll tell you, weddings are. I did 4 weddings in my life for friends, and weddings are just so stressful because you're only as good as your last wedding, and with social media and everything nowadays, I mean, if you have one bad outing for whatever reason, I mean, a person can take you down and ruin your whole career.
Oh yeah.
All it takes is one person going at you, and your career is done.
I had somebody ask me, they're like, "Where's the DJ?" I'm like, "It's not in my camera bag." Like, I don't know where the DJ. I'm the photographer. Like,
yeah.
We're not,
and you're right. I agree with you, John. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how any wedding photographer does it. Some seem to love it. Okay. I don't know why, but they do. And I'm glad that they do.
good money.
I mean, some of those stories that Vaughan has got, you know, oh, do you use a Canon? He goes, oh, then I'm not going to give you a job, you know.
Yeah.
Or the rich lawyer who tries to cheap him out, you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I couldn't do
pay him
that.
crap. Yeah.
I couldn't do it. There's no way. You know?
That's astonishing because like Vahagan's wedding pictures are so good. That is, you know, it's like, it's amazing that they'd be, well, if you're not shooting Canon, be like, I didn't know that Uncle Ben was getting married to Aunt Betty, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
that's, you know, in here, I'm always, this is my mantra now, is to fight Nikon to the death, to communicate with us, to market better. And you know what's great about it is I'll never accomplish that. So I've got a lifetime ahead of me of having fun trying. But I don't care what other people shoot. If they want to shoot Canon, Sony, Olympus, Fuji, DJI, or because they have video camera now, the gimbal DJI, whatever it is, 4D. I don't care what it is. I don't care what you shoot. But I love it when they're in here and they talk to us and we can all talk like real people. We're not bashing each other's brand. And
hey guys, I gotta go. My chicken
Mr. John, you're leaving us.
Yeah, well, I gotta deliver you a chicken, bunch of legs and chicken wings. So I gotta go pick it up at the guardhouse.
Okay. All right.
Hey, all right, guys. Thanks a lot, man.
You're more than welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight, John. Thank Diana for jumping in here for a minute. Too.
Yeah.
I hope she feels better and the eye gets better quick.
That shine will go away.
Yeah. Have a good one, John.
take care, buddy.
Nice seeing you.
Oh, that was a nice shot, John. The bots are going to be back now for sure.
Yeah, they will.
Here's a little bit off topic, but extremely frustrating. I was considering getting another drone because I have a drone. I have a DJI Mini that I always go out to try to take pictures with, but I end up just putting it in sport mode and it tearing behind around the lake. I wanted to get a drone that could track me. That way I could incorporate that into my YouTube channel to get some cooler shots of me, you know, taking pictures and stuff. Turns out I can't do that without going and getting like a Part 107 license. Otherwise I could get like $100,000 fine because my channel is monetized. Therefore, there's no way it could be for fun. Oh, I was so mad. So now it's like, if I want that kind of material, like I have to hire somebody with that license. I could study for it and go take it, but I'm not going to do that. Absolutely not. I was so mad.
Got Mr. Vahagan's in the house, guys.
There you go.
Vahagan, my dude, what's up?
Mr. Vahagan. How you doing, buddy?
It was going good till you popped in here, my dude. I'm just kidding.
Hey, since he popped in, you know, anybody wants to drop a like over
channel stats just went up. Watch out.
Yeah. Anybody wants to drop a like over there, it'd make me extremely happy. I appreciate that. And all the new folks jumping in, please consider subscribing. You can get in here and argue with us and carry on like crazies. And, You're welcome to be a guest host on the show too, if you like.
Yeah, tell us we don't know anything, and we won't argue with you.
There you go.
I'll argue with you because I love it.
There you go. Joe talking about, you ever see me shooting a wedding? Pray for me because I've done lost my mind. Yeah, I shot one wedding, and that Amanda talked about that in here Wednesday. I shot her wedding, and never again, never again. I actually wanted to hire a photographer for her wedding, and she said, "No, you're going to do it." Talking about stress.
Yes,
I did my best friend's wedding, and then many years later, I did his daughter's wedding.
Hassan, thanks for being in here, man.
And haven't talked to him since. No, I'm just kidding.
No, and I had a very close friend at work. I did her son's wedding, and I did my wife's best friend's daughter's wedding. And then I had all my camera gear stolen, which actually worked out pretty good because no one could ask me to do weddings anymore because I didn't have any camera gear.
Well, I just think it's like ever since I got confident, because for the first couple of years of shooting photography, like I didn't really want to put it out there because I didn't think I was good enough. And once I did that, I started getting it, like people that I hadn't heard from in years. They're like, "Oh, I'm getting married and you're invited." I'm like, "Cool." They're like, "Are you going to bring your camera?"
It's
like,
nope. Stop being fixed.
I'm also not coming to your wedding now.
Yeah.
Oh man. Absolutely, Joe. Absolutely.
FAA, don't worry about commercial drones, license and tests unless you're carelessly flying near
All right.
producers.
There you go, guys. All you landscape shooters. Thomas Heaton on Vahagraphy Talk soon.
And why isn't Vahagraphy on Chuck Talks right now? Pop in here, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with your actual face, not the V with the circle, the real deal.
That's all right. I know he was busy or something, so we're not far from wrapping it up now.
Nothing is more important than this live stream right now.
Oh man.
Unless your wife says no, then that's more important than the live stream right now.
Yeah.
I just like that Vahagan is getting these like high profile guys, and he is still remaining down to earth. Don't remember where you came from, Vahagan.
Yeah.
Or don't forget where you came from.
I hear fireworks still going off outside. Man.
Yeah, they're going on here too. And it's it's been raining all day too.
That's one reason my dog's always under the desk when I'm on these streams, but if she hears the firecrackers and stuff, then she's going to be near me anyway, shaking. So she does not like it.
Hey, Joe, thanks for dropping in, man. I hope you had a good time, and get in there with us all the time and shake it up. I love comments that make me go, "What?" But no, just kidding. Definitely stick it out with us. I think you'll have a good time. Oh man,
I know you are, Vahagan. You're like way too chill to succumb to a celebrity.
All right, guys, I am going to wrap it up here in just a second because I want to go out and check out and see if this guy across the street. I mean, everybody that lives in this neighborhood's rich, right? No, not me, but everybody thinks everybody here is. Anyway, he must have money because he puts on a show that rivals anything that goes on in New York for 4th of July. So it sounds like he's warming things up with some of the stuff over there. And the only problem is all the people from all around see it going on, and they come down the street and park in the middle of the street. So
set up lawn chairs in Chuck's front yard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Leave their beer cans behind.
Yeah.
Well, that's your chance to start cooking burgers and dogs and making a lot of money for your next lens.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
You got a captive audience. They're watching fireworks. You say, "Hey, you want some mustard and ketchup with with that or what?" You know.
Go, hey, you know what, Chuck? Here's an idea. Okay, so people like weird food now, right? And so you're gonna take all of the standard 4th of July fare and you're gonna make it patriotic. You're gonna make Ranger wraps and sell them for
There you go.
$5 a pop in the front
There you
yard.
go. Absolutely.
Red, white, and blue sauce.
Hey, Patrick, again, we're in here every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, man. You're welcome to join any time we're in here. So it's every Saturday night. And we do it on Wednesday as well. Wednesday at noon. That's at Eastern time. And all the shows are going to go 3 hours. Sometimes I have Mozman trying to get me to break the record, but man, that's going to be tough to do. Mozman, he's the keeper of the records for the live stream here.
Yeah.
And
well, maybe you try to break it before Christmas or something. Be like a Christmas gift to the channel, the loyal watchers of the channel.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh yeah. See him about each other, blah blah blah. Yeah. We were talking about John Ishii being a photojournalist too, even though for whatever reason my mind was over here. I was trying to think photojournalist and couldn't come up with it. So Zach saved the day. Photojournalist? Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Patrick. And again, join us for more, man. We always have a good time. Mossman's the archivist for AP Studios. All right, folks. You know what? Again, I'm gonna get out of here because I hear it going off again. What do you call those? The cannons, the big.
The artillery.
Oh yeah, he's big. I mean, he goes big.
You got the Class A, the ones that look like cannonballs.
Yeah, you know that boom and your windows rattle.
Yeah,
it's the real deal. He doesn't buy these little, stop on the side of the road place fireworks.
He's got the license, like the license for the big stuff.
I don't know if he does or not, but the cops never bother him. They let him go.
They like it too.
Yeah, maybe they're on the dole. I don't know.
Right.
All right, guys. I'm going to let you guys wrap it up on your end there. Go, Zach. Mention your channel and make sure everybody knows, please.
Yeah, and anybody who's new in the chat that hadn't subscribed to Z Wade Photo, check me out. Make sure you check out everybody else. Jeff and Chuck. We all have great channels, and I got a lot of stuff that I'm dumping out right now. So hit the bell notification on my channel because there's all kinds of stuff. Like seriously, like 3 or 4 a week. So. But yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks everybody who was active in the chat. It was a fun one tonight. Now, Jeff, go for it.
Hey, I tell you, the amount of videos you're putting out, I thought you were just drinking a lot of coffee.
It's a backlog dump. I'm trying to, because I was actually backlogged till like August, and I'm trying to make more room for a new schedule. So I'm just like, take it all.
Now, if you want to go to a slower channel, you come to see me. Selective Imagery.
Yeah, it's therapy. I enjoy it, and I learned something about birds. Don't give that up, man. I'm learning.
It is therapy for me as well. It keeps me young. Can't you tell?
Yes. It's keeping you young, brother.
So check it out. Have some fun. And I always tell people that a lot of it is just to share what I do and convince you to get your behind off the couch and get out there and get some images and take pictures, whether it be your family, your pet, the birds in the backyard, whatever you like to do, and get out there and do something. Get some fresh air. Don't stay in the house. Go out.
That's what it's about.
Everybody, and I kind of messed that up, but everybody enjoys sharing the photos, and we're going to do that again soon too, though. I'll let you guys know so that I'll give you a couple of weeks notice and let people send in a photo. And I got quite a few comments on that, as a matter of fact, even in emails. We're not going to, have everybody share 2, 3, 4 photos, but everybody share a photo. And with enough lead time, we should get enough people to actually sit down and talk about each of our photos throughout the show. barring all the latest news and complaints about whatever, and just have a good time talking about photos. I'll let you know if you guys are really interested in that. Just again, let me know in the comments, so it keeps me motivated to get it
Yeah,
going.
definitely do that again, because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, everybody gets to share what. I don't care if you took it last week or last year or 10 years ago. Whatever photo you want to share, it's entirely up to you. Maybe we'll do a themed. We'll try this again and see if we can get it working, and maybe we'll do a themed photo show later on. All right, Vahagraphy. He'll be in live again Tuesday. I don't know if he has anybody yet, but Vahagan can talk to that in the chat. So make sure you guys are there on Tuesday. It's 9 a.m. I'm sorry, it's 10 a.m., isn't it,
10
Vahagan?
a.m.
10 a.m. Pacific,
Yeah.
which is 1 p.m. Eastern time. And he'll be live again. And we'll see who all shows up for that. Always fun to get in there and chat with Vahagan, too. Anything else? Oh, for those of you that are in here right now that haven't already left, since I said we are going to wrap this up, I don't have a problem with people dropping their site, their YouTube channel name, and everything in the chat. I'm not one of those that's going to delete your comment, and I've had people do that to me not too long ago. I had somebody. I just dropped who I am and that, hey, I'm going to have a live stream talking about this. I guess they think I'm going to steal all their subscribers. Right. Yeah. People are going to unsubscribe from him and subscribe to me.
That's
But
so
anyway,
big league and stupid. I
it
want to
is.
see. I want to see everybody's work.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Absolutely. So, if you have a channel or a website for your photography, videography, or whatever, drop it in the chat or drop it in a comment after this rolls over to video, so that, hey, I don't know how many people are going to see it, but there's always the opportunity somebody stumbles across it and said, let me go check this channel out. I don't know about it. So, all right, guys, I'll quit beating my lips up here. Our next rendezvous will be Wednesday. I don't know what the date is, but Wednesday. I should check Amazon. I have something coming on Wednesday. See what the date is. About at noon Eastern time.
6th.
Yeah.
The
So
6th.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because the 4th is Monday. All right.
Mozman,
See how I figured that out after the fact?
Mozman, answer your question. Huntington Beach State Park. That's the place where I've been fighting with over the water levels.
All right. I'm glad to know people fight about other things too, instead of me on here fighting Nikon all the time. And I'm getting a lot of agita from some people about that. Hey, guys, I'm not stopping it. You don't have to. If you stumbled across my channel and you don't like it, then just you stumbled across and continue to move on. I wish you'd stay. I wish you'd stay, but hey, that's the way it is. All right. All right, guys. Hey, thanks, Vahagan. Appreciate that, man. Happy photography to you, Gustavo. Anybody? There you go. Maybe we do that. So if you guys want to go out and shoot some fireworks this weekend, you may have already missed it in your area because a lot of people did them yesterday or last night or tonight. But anyway, you can share some of those as well, and we'll pick those up in the next live stream. If you've got them and you want to email them to me, we'll take a minute and check those out. All right. All right, folks. I can't think of anything else. Again, thanks everybody that came in tonight, and I hope you guys will come back again. Thanks, Roy. We had a good time. It was a lot of fun. Yep. All right, gentlemen. Anything else before we go?
No.
That's
We're
it for
good.
me.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us.
Trying to figure this pointing thing out. I can't point to you. All right.
Yeah, like the podcast. And with that, I'm out, guys.
All right, gentlemen. Everybody have a great night. God bless y'all. I hope to see you in here Wednesday if you can make it.
Yeah, take care, everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy.